I'm in love, round and round I go, out of control, I'm in love. Oh, shit, let's get it going. Ooh, look at that. Look at that, y'all. Look at that, y'all. Now, that's a fire. Wasted my flame. All right, wasting my shit. All right. Shot 'em up good, going through my neighborhood. Shit gets good to you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. We send each and everybody their own power, their own thunderbolt. It's one of your easiest powers to use. You can pick up a stick or anything. It's just the intention of the energy you put into what you pick up. But the thunderbolt energy is in us all. We put it out every kind of way. We show you the maximum effort that you can put it out. The same thought, but we just give you more angles. We give you more energy, more movement. It's the same. These are not really different. We just giving you the whole equation. That's all. We just giving you all the equation. They don't want to give you the answer, all the answers. They got to give you some of the equations, because if you look at how the tones is put in, it's put in as the 8 being all these angles. You see that? You see that? It's looking kind of groovy. You can see, I don't even know if this will show up. Like, this is, man, let me tell you what's all this is. This is astrofield shit. This is shit you see in the astrofield. Only people that can draw this kind of shit is shit they see in the astrofield. This comes from high imagination. This is not just no average shit they putting on here. All this goes into this. So when I play this, you get all this. All right. Good morning, y'all. Damn, this has been a great night of podcasting. Prophets of Thought was in. I watched Brother Nick Taylor, and certainly that Super Sly is a hard act to follow. Let me, I guess I should be illuminated a little bit more. You can tell it's a smooth motherfucker behind it. And let me say, no diss, but I'm gonna tell you how much I don't fuck with these niggas. I did not realize Obsidian of O'Shea is two different people. I thought they was both. When I heard both names, I thought it was one cat. So to tell you how much I don't listen to the motherfuckers. The only time I saw Kevin Samuels was on fucking Atlanta. No, Sly showed some shit. So yeah, that's not my shit. I don't fuck with that shit. Oh, PJ Allen, what's happening? Oh, I guess I should introduce myself. Damn. Welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your super funky host, Big Pontiac. I am also the holder of the sacred infinite ball game created by the Hero Twins. And I'm also your one and only Galactic Daddy-O, welcoming each and all the Chocolate Mountaineers to my galactic patio that reaches from Minnesota to the universe. And tonight, we are doing it bigger than you're doing it. And you're going to wish you with me very quickly, because tonight, again, I go to my local brewery and get fresh beer. Boat Brothers Brewery, Sol Raoul, or Irish Red. This shit is fresh beer. This ain't that shit like when I get my Boulder's beer, that shit was made back in February. This shit was made last week. And so this is that Irish Red, which you very rarely find. You see that red amber color? You see how they give it to you? That's that Irish. And right now you wish that you were here with me drinking Boat Brothers Boathouse Brewery Irish Red. And I am, and you aren't, in my Applebee's Detroit Lions cup, no, pint glass, which you don't have, and I do. So pop them if you got them. And we are definitely on the herbs. I don't even smoke anymore. This shit, Delta 8, THC, is good enough to keep me funky. So herbs, smoke them if you want them. TJ, let me show you. PJ. Oh, I saw Brother Siova in here. What's happening, Siova? Thank you for joining me. Oh, Brother Lorenzo. What's happening, JR? Knows the 42 on Brittany Greer jersey this week when they was discussing her Russian situation. Yeah, she's been marked since college. She's been 42 since college. She has been 42 since college. So yeah, she's been marked a long time ago. I just wonder how it is being who and what she is being over there. But is it a ruse? I just wonder. I mean, could you? Obviously, she's done it before. Obviously, she's gotten away with it before. Obviously, they found it before and let her get away with it and let them get away with it. I mean, if you know anything about women's pro basketball, they make more money in Russia than they'd make anywhere. And somebody made a good point. Brittany is worth more to the Russians than she is to us. She is worth more to them. She makes more money, almost, I would say she makes probably 4 to 5 times more money over there. And if you don't think I know about their salaries, Maya Moore is a prime example. Maya Moore quit playing. What did she play? 5-6 years of WNBA, and she played 5 or 6 years in Russia. And you notice she retired 3-4 years ago. Just shows you how much bread she made playing in Russia. All of them play in Russia. She's worth more money over there than she is here. Think about this. If they let her hoop, she's in prison, but they let her play in the top pro league. So she is an asset for them. I don't think they're gonna give up the butcher for her. We'll see. We'll see. But you remember Trump got that ball boy. The ball boy didn't go to jail, didn't go to court. Stealing over there will get you killed in China. But yet Trump bought the ball boy right back. But yeah, they've been already know. Of course, they know where he's going to play for. I was telling man, yeah, the KD Brooklyn jersey was lids about $35-40. $35-40, the number 7. I almost bought it. The Williamson jersey, he ain't getting moved. He just re-upped. White New Orleans, $70 instead of $150. Not bad. Well, yeah. So I didn't grab them today. Was really kind of shopping for my Black Trunks, shopping for my daughter. But yeah, of course they know where he's gonna go next. Hey PJ, what's happening? I gotta show you something, PJ. And you can show me this. I don't fuck with it either. Him being in Atlanta should tell you something. Well, yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Hey PJ, you know, I'll say this, guys. I'll say this. Those of you that's got a school shop, y'all better start doing that shit now. Because them stores ain't got a lot of shit. I'm telling you, I went out to the outlet today. The stores do not have a lot of shit. So I'm just, y'all going school shopping. Start your school shopping now. Now I'm going to go out to the Mall of America next couple of days because I got to get my necklace fixed. I'm going to see how it is out there. But I'm telling you, I went out to the outlet and I ain't never seen the outlet not have shit up in there. Look, I don't fuck with white socks. I just don't like it. This is the oldest of the shit. These are the only Nike socks. Marshall's been quit selling. And these is the super long, you know. But this is the only Nike socks I can find for men. It's, you know, I ain't saying a single pair to say some shit. But I got to buy this bullshit. So I'm just telling y'all, go shopping now for school. Because the shit, when everybody trying to shop at once, I don't know. But I was able to get these. I bought my daughter her shoes, but I was able to get these. And these, now I'll say this. This kind of shit was first, this kind of was first put on them Concords. Them Concords, let me see who was born. Cameron, maybe? Concords was 10s, but the Carolina ones had this kind of bottom. So I guess this is a mix of, because these is Nikes. But you see, these is Jordans. Not Jordan brand, but actually Nikes. And yeah, these is like a mixture of the 10 rings. They call these motherfuckers the, what do they call these motherfuckers? They call these the Jordan Point Lane. Jordan Point Lane. It's the Air Max. Still the air unit in the forefoot. It's got the air unit. So, you know, I'm a shoe guy too. So, I fuck with it either. Oh, I get ready to shut it down, but I had to holler at you. Thank you. Oh, golly. Where's it at? Yeah. I found some of your shit today, Nick. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. See, Nick, you tell what you like. And so you said what you like. And yeah, we saw it. We saw the lids. So my daughter reminded me before we left. So I was going to tease you and show this shit. It's around here somewhere. But I found it. Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to fuck with you and show it, but yeah, I guess it ain't right here. So yeah, I got your stuff to send. Yeah, yeah, PJ. You know I'm a sneakerhead. And they're 14s. I can wear 14s because I have like I naturally wear like a 13 and a half. I'll tell you for a long time they was NBA shoes. And I don't know if y'all know the NBA gets shoes. Very rarely will you see certain size on certain sizes before outlets. Very rarely did you see 13 and a half. I mean, very rarely. As I said before, Sam Mitchell was the first cat that really hit me because I didn't even know. I didn't even know they made 13 and a half because you never saw them in the store. And as I said before, I went to the game and everybody had gave out the socks because that's what everybody wanted. The way everybody wanted the NBA socks because they didn't sell them in the stores at the time. So there was a rarity. You know, you go in the gym wearing some NBA socks. But Sam gave me his shoes and they was 13 and a half. So I had never seen a 13 and a half before. I was like, damn, where the fuck they make these? And so but I you know I can wear them, but I can wear 14s too, and especially with my insoles. So, but thank you for brother Nick for coming on. You know I watch everybody. Nick makes good points. Nick did the. I was just telling my son, you know, it just makes you want to wonder, like what Nick pointed out, what happened to LeBron James school, which just happened a while ago, but very little publicity. Could be that kind of counter thing. I don't know what would make men so mad to create that kind of murder, but what does the dude named Michael something Dyson, Michael Dyson, and Michael Dyson like broke down what it was, and it just showed the creature mind this motherfucker had, and he was like in his book he breaks down like what gang rape is like. You know, and he's like, you know, you see your buddies gang raping a bitch and you just get caught up in the hype. Yeah, not a normal motherfucker. But violence can be the same way. Violence can be fed into. So you see one dude beating a motherfucker up, and that's your guy. Now, you know, again, most of us know we back somebody up, but I'm not really even talking about that. I'm just saying if you see your guy jump somebody and you see that he gets them, it's not hard for violence to and it's almost like a virus, you know, to jump from one motherfucker to the other like that. So that's not hard. However, the story has so much overkill. You know, it just makes me wonder. Hey, Lorenzo, how you doing, man? What do you say? When does school? School starts here. We start after Labor Day, so we won't start till that first week of September up here. Yep, we won't start till then. So it's a minute. Damn, hockey shirt ain't showing. uh, yeah, it was weird. I was in Marshalls back in the day, and Rasheal Butler's Reebok name on the box was in there. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Lorenzo, Michael Dawson, who came from Cranbrook, uh, in his yearbook. Fuck Cranbrook. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I just remember listening to that story, and that's some bullshit. You know, as I said, and this is a real story. And I talked to my homeboy, like one of the first girls I met when I went to A&T. I was, you know, I was just square to being gone. You know, I'm like, I've always been a noticeable nigga, and I ain't never been sloppy. So, you know, I hustled in high school. You know, I go to school, sell joints and shit, go to parties, sell joints. I've been doing that shit forever since the 70s. So I never was a sloppy motherfucker. So, you know, as I talked about Tim Reed go to UAD, and the first day he moved on campus, he smoking a joint in the dorm. No, not me. I wasn't that nigga. I wasn't the nigga to just be that sloppy. I'm gonna go smoke by myself, then come back and fuck with them. You know, I was always that kind of guy. I was never one guy just to, you know, vibe off them. Now, once you learn the ropes, as they call it, then you can do your behavior accordingly. You got to learn the ropes, though. That's anything. So, but I never, as I told the story before, and I'm friends with these niggas now. Okay, I'll get back to this. Okay, so I didn't know that I could just go over this girl room, fuck her in her college dorm room. I didn't know. The way they was telling us you had to sign up, I didn't know. I'm a couple weeks on campus. I don't know. So my homeboy knocked her off and shit. And he was like, yeah, she tried to give it to you. So I'm like, okay, I missed out on that one. This girl hanging with her homeboys, and I've told this story many, many times. This girl got raped by 30 plus men. She hanging with these niggas, passed out. And these niggas, and they boule. Now, maybe it was initiation. I've said this before, and people brought that up. It could have been initiation for these niggas. But these niggas, and they my friends on Facebook today, my ex-teammates, but boule niggas. You know, animalistic. You know, animalistic. Fighting up in the room, fighting over the bitch and shit. She sleep, knocked out. And she tried to go to the police, but she took a shower. So none of the skeet or nothing was on her. But you have to learn the ropes. I guess that's why I brought that up. Hey, CW, how you? They was size 16. I can't wear 16. Oh, okay. I see what you say. They were size 16. Yeah. You know, Marshall be getting them 17, 18, 19 shoes too. They always get the big shoes. So it makes me wonder. Because you know, the outlets get the shoes sometimes sent from the stores that don't sell. I still paid for these. I still paid. Fuck. What does the box say? The box says 140. I paid 120. I still paid 120. Now, if I go online and find the same pair for cheaper, then I'll probably go buy them and go get my money back. But I bought my daughter a pair of shoes too. I think Adam Silver's telling teams not to trade for KD. Well, that would be collusion. He's not supposed to be able to collide against a player like that, but we'll see. No way Raptors keep Scotty Barnes over KD. Yeah, because they paid Scotty Barnes today. Didn't the Raptors pay him? I don't know, like it's the same with Ben Simmons. You know, now Brooklyn's got Ben Simmons. Is he the one that they're going to build the franchise around? Like, why didn't he play all year? Was he really that hurt? No. Guys can be hurt, no doubt. But was he that hurt? Was Ben Simmons that hurt? So we'll see. We'll see. Or do they value him more? Because Kyrie is damaged goods to me. Kyrie ain't never gave you a full 85. He ain't gonna never give you a full 85 or whatever, 82, whatever they switched it down to. But, you know, as I said many times before, to see the league is fake is Westbrook contract. Ain't nobody in their right mind give away your best shooter for this bum that had the fake triple doubles. And he's the highest salary player. He's the highest salary player to $47 million, and you give him the player option. Come on, that ain't real. That ain't real. That is not real. There's no way anything. Rob Pelinka, how you can't tell me he does not pay it that much attention. That again, if he's forced to do it because league rest year, okay, I understand that, but. No way anybody want to Westbrook. Like John Walls, you know, he got to take less money. Because if you're a quick player, them injuries take away quick. Russ took the money. Yeah, Ben Simmons wasn't hurt. It doesn't seem like it. I agree. Russ took the money. Yeah. Kyrie didn't. Full season at Duke. No, he played like 8 games at Duke. He played more games. Matter of fact, he played the first 3 or 4, got hurt. They played in Sweet 16. I want to say because they wanted to highlight Kyrie. If y'all remember, they let Kyrie play in 2 or 3 playoff games. Maybe he played. Matter of fact, this is what they did. If I remember right, Kyrie played in the ACC tournament. I think Duke won the ACC tournament. Kyrie may have been MVP. I think that's how it went. And then Kyrie played in 2 tournament games, and that got him the #1 pick right there. after missing the whole season. Damaged goods. Yeah. Broke back then. Yeah. Lakers might be stuck. Yeah, I think so. Ben Simmons wasn't hurt. Fake. Yeah, he wasn't hurt. They held him out. Uh, like right now, I've said this before. Right now, when Chet Holmgren was a senior in high school, he played against the boy from France. The boy from France is 7'1" with 7'9" wingspan. They're already pushing him out. They already pushing this boy from France to be the #1 pick next year. So we'll see. It doesn't look like he's going to college either. Give you all that diamond energy, baby. Herkimer. Diamonds amplify. So you ain't got to spend a lot of money to get diamonds. Probably calling teams, talking to them. I mean, it's not that it's all drawn out. It's all to keep your attention to the NBA. That's all this is. That's all this is. You know, they drawn it out because, you know, football about to come on. And you remember, you know how football does basketball. Once football comes on, people say fuck basketball. So they are trying to get all the hype they can before football season starts. Because, you know, people don't give a fuck about basketball when football starts. Preseason, going to workouts, that's all you're going to hear is people talking about football. So basketball is trying to, you know, you get the last little bit of a bottle and shit, and you know, that's what they're doing. They're trying to find a way that people like their product. To be honest, what if you did a quantifier? You know that? You know, to say to be honest is a quantifier? That's a quantifier, y'all. So that's a quantifier. Not making fun of you, but know when you're quantifying. That's a quantifier. To be honest, you don't need to say that. Your point is already there. What if they made this whole trade story up just for attention from the media? Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. And I'm not trying to point you out. You know, don't take any offense to that. Nets asked Timberwolves for Edwards, Towns, and no, not first round picks. They ain't got no first round picks. They ain't got no first round picks. No, it wasn't first round picks. It was picks. Wasn't first round picks, CW. It was picks. Yeah, I was on this. They might get it. They just might get it. They're still negotiating with them. It's not first round picks though, because they ain't got none. So they couldn't. Matter of fact, the fifth pick is technically it's illegal, but it is again depending on place, how teams place. So fifth pick is really kind of illegal, but again the placement. But yeah, it's not first round picks. It's picks. Yep. If KD, so don't be surprised if the Timberwolves get rid of Towns. I don't see Edwards. I see them getting rid of Towns, not Edwards. Yeah. But stranger things. Because right now what they're saying is Towns is going to play 4 in defense, 4 in offense. It's going to make them slow as hell with them two big dudes out there the way the league is getting around. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know though. The Timberwolves are still interested, and they say this is coming from the other owners. Wolves declined already. Oh, you saying they declined? I didn't see that tonight. Hey, Eric, you said they declined. Okay. Hey, Eric, how you doing, man? Okay, yeah, no offense. I'm just saying you don't need it. Hey, Sherry Lita, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Wolves got robbed by the Jazz. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like I was saying, Rob Pelinka is bad. That trade makes no sense unless you planning on because when I heard it this morning, I was like, they're trying to get rid of Towns. But then they talk about Towns and Edwards. Edwards is very durable, and so is Towns. But both of them, I just don't understand wanting him to play 4. That's gonna put Vanderbilt on the bench. That you're gonna put Vanderbilt at 3, and really you want your 3 to be a scorer. So because sometimes Edwards can play the 3. You know, he's got enough size and he can D up. I don't know. That caught me out of. I don't know. Making that move to me buries the Timberwolves in the cellar forever. That buries the Timberwolves in the cellar forever. That's what I see. So I don't understand that. I don't understand why they felt they needed him. They, I mean, if it didn't put the Jazz over the top, how did you figure it was when 2 years ago the Jazz was the best team in the West 2 years ago? And yet they didn't. Well, again, it's all scripted, but when he's on the court, they're slow. The game has changed to get rid of big dudes. So don't understand that. I don't understand that trade. It makes no sense. Yeah. So wow. Guess I'm gonna switch up a little bit. You know, I take the spiritual responsibility for certain my family members when they pass. I have certain rites that I have to do to make sure that they get to go join the ancestors. And so we had a this would have been like, I guess, my second, third cousin, my first cousin's grandson, so third cousin, I guess, but still Lampy blood, no doubt. And really an interesting dude. I don't know if y'all remember this, but if y'all remember this on Facebook, this shit went kind of viral. It's a dude. He's got really long weave on, and he's dancing. I don't even know how else. Not really twerking. I think he's just kind of dancing, maybe twerking, but he's a little short dude with a long weave on. He's holding a square and he's dancing. And this shit went kind of viral, but it's him. But this dude like designed wigs and shit, and he was gay. I mean, you know, put that out there. But he was gay. And apparently we just found out he had like HIV, and the HIV, which we know HIV does not turn into AIDS, but apparently he ended up having AIDS. And he ended up dying recently, apparently full-blown AIDS at 28 years old. So that made him born in 94 and 95, probably 94. So when I got the message, and just to tell you, you know, like spiritually, if you don't protect yourself, and I say this story to tell you, if you don't spiritually to protect yourself, when you die, and again, you know, when we talk about we talk about people selling, you know, selling immortality for the riches of now. I mean, this is a real thing. This really stops you here. It really does. If you make that commitment, you know, as I said before, whatever Lola wants, if you sign that commitment, this stops you now. But let me say this. Disease kills your spiritual aspect as well, because we are so afraid to die that we do so much to fight disease that if we're told that disease overcomes us and we don't, let me start again. Let me start again. Okay. So we get disease and we try to fight this disease for so long, and we do everything they say to fight this disease, knowing that some of the aspects and some of the medicines they give us hollow out your soul. Like it really pushes your soul out. It's like every time you take this stuff that you think is saving your life, you are actually taking this stuff that pushes your soul further and further away from you, if that makes sense. And so this young man is that the story I'm getting that he died of full-blown AIDS, so everything shut down. So I get the story, and again, you know, with the Ampey family, I'll say any of the family too, though, but especially the Ampeys, I guess. My brother says I should write this shit down because there is a way. As I said, the directional energy, the medicine wheel is the same thing. You know, it's directional energy. And understanding directional energy, understanding where my ancestors are. I can't really say yours, but it's similar layers. So yours would be very similar. You know, I have this directional stuff all around me. And so when it's time for me to go in this stuff, even me going in this stuff, you know, like I put a limit of 7 layers that really I put myself to go into to see if the deceased family member is there. And so again, it's 7 layers down, 7 layers up of each of the center in each direction. I know it sounds like 14 levels, but it's a little different. It's not quite, because there's really no up down on it. There's really no up down, I guess is the point. And so I go 7 layers in every direction, and I did find him in the west amongst the ancestors. And I guess this is the kind of thing, you know, I get off on hope a lot of times, but I want to give you this for sure. It's like, even if you can keep the faintest beep going, and the right ancestor that knows what he's looking for can still help you and save you and put you with the rest of the ancestors. Because again, his energy signature was like almost invisible in a lot of manners. I mean, I've had conversations with ancestors that there's, you know, taken this path, and you can almost say like the digital signature you see in the Matrix movie. It's a digital signature, a whole, you know, our conception, again, we want to see the body and the eyes and stuff, but it's a digital type of signature, if that makes sense. But with him, it was just the faintest little thing, but it's like I wasn't getting anything. And again, these ancestors are there, and you see the energies, but again, it was nothing, and it was just the faintest little thing that some people wouldn't even pay attention to. It was so faint, but it was enough. It was enough. Yeah. It was enough to say, okay, there you are. There you are. So he worked with me a little bit. And so even though he was attacked with all these drugs, you know, there was somebody in the family that still could say, okay, he one of us. We do no judgment. It's a place for the ancestors to go. So wanted to put that out there before I forgot about it, you know. Yeah, I saw that. Hey, brother Edward, what's happening? Let me see. I'm sorry. I got to. Okay. Did you see Aaron Rodgers' tattoo segment on Undisputed this morning? I know I rarely watch that show anymore. So, no, I did not see that, Alchemist. I did not see that. The Most High, the Nets should trade KD, Foots Walker, and Darren Cook for Cat Town, Chris Carr, and Michael Williams. Come on, Michael Williams. Nobody wants Michael Williams. Hey, Brother Edward. Brother Edward's come in. We got to give the transformational energy of the Omen or Omac. You know, I give this, you know, this is some shit that came from there. You know, understand this shit's from Mexico, baby. This is from the dirt. And we give this out to you. You know, how many people want to give you the real American energies? The real transformation or energy that's like Bobby said, you know, make you scared of your own shit. This is America's. Like I'm reading now about the Mounds Builder. They want to tell you all these damn names, but we go to, what is it, Chakota? We see these kind of heads. They don't like that. They don't like that shit. They don't like to tell you that the Omen had a hand in all this shit in America. They don't like that. Same sacred ball games, but yes, Brother Edwards with the transformation energy, we give it to you. Peace and blessings. The Black Jaguar, God be upon you from the Jaguar, Black Jaguar. Teacher, Mac Bone. Very kind words. Very kind words. Right on. Nets said they want an all-star multiple picks. Yeah, I saw that shit. They ain't getting it. They ain't getting it. They ain't, his value ain't that high. His value ain't that high. Golden State was just capping. They don't want that nigga. They do not want him. Big Pontiac, I might not upload content on my channel, for I might hurt a lot of Negroes and males' feelings. Shit, you got that fire? Release it. I seen that video. Damn, I didn't know he did. Damn. Yeah, that's my little cousin. You saw that video where he dancing and shit, holding the cigarette? That's what tripped me out. But yeah, that's my little cousin. That was 4 or 5 years ago. But he designed wigs and shit. Like I said, he was gay. But he designed like the weaves and the wigs. He designed that shit, put that shit together, made that shit. So had some talent. But 28 years old. Yep. Yep. 28 years old. Where's he at? I was on a panel of Bomb Cherry Juice's channel trying to share it with my fellow panelists after I apologized to her for the loud outburst earlier, but she kicked me out the chat. Oh, okay. I don't know who they are, but okay. Skip said he's trying to show off seeing eyes. Tattoo was how can I say? Well, Kyrie got the shit that's on his shoe on his hand. You know, the Eye of Yadabath. Yeah. I've seen that video. Yeah. They've been constantly trying to rewrite history, of course. I know if you Google and look at it, I'm sure you would idea of what he was trying to get at. Okay, I get you. Thank you too, brother. Time Lord, the Black Jaguar Panther God is making my body, mind, soul a lot more powerful. Good, and more of us can use it. I mean, that's a perfect segue, you know, to where we are now. What's cool is I got another book about the mound builders. This is my third book. The Mound Builders of North America. And what's cool about her is, and let me show you, because this chick is a botanist, and she shows, you know, the type of flowers that was cultivated by the mound builders that have all these different properties. So, you know, and not trying to be hurtful, you know, but the real history is you had a group of people, they left 500 people that didn't know how to do shit, and they died. A few of them was taken into the tribe and they died. Even going with Columbus. Columbus did the same thing. Columbus left some people. Columbus took 20 people. 5 lived. I read some more shit. They know 5 lived. He left people. All the people was dead when they came back. Both Jamestown and the same thing when Columbus first trip. He tried to leave some motherfuckers and all them got killed. So don't even know why I brought that up, but there's a reason, but I forgot. But yeah, history's definitely rewritten. Stories don't make sense. The conquest of America doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I've said many nights over and over again. They killed all the trees. First, they defeated the people that lived in America, made them subservient. Then they killed all the trees. They killed all the animals, most of the animals. I mean, almost to extinction. Yeah. So, and murder. What H. Rap Brown say? Murder is American as apple pie, and he said it right. It really is. And now, you know, melanated people going after each other over shit that don't really mean shit in a lot of instances. So, neither did those Guidestones. Good evening or morning in the Detroit East Side. Neither did those Guidestones. Good evening. You know, I'm guessing that them Guidestones was on some kind of ley line. I've never really looked, but I imagine they had to be on, you know, first of all, down in that whole area, and Brother Bomber broke that down. There's a granite shelf that runs from, it runs into Stone Mountain, and it goes all the way to New York. There's a lot of energy in granite. Granite is one of the highest, as far as a crystal, one of the highest, or even a mineral, if you want to say it's a mineral, not a crystal, but it's one of the highest, highest vibrating stones. And so you imagine all this is on that. We got New York over all that granite. We got, you know, Atlanta over all that granite. So you've got magic going on there. And I think Sly is right. I think they blew it up themselves. I think it was holy ritual. Because a lot of it was definitely give nature a second chance. quit putting money and profit in front of nature. Nature has to be left alone to do its thing. How is that? This is how much they choke the people. The Amazon jungle is looked at as the lungs of the world. Yet they making them people so poor down there that they don't even care. They saying, fuck the lungs of the world if I can make some money to feed my family. I don't care if I'm destroying. And that's really what it came down to, the conquering of America. That very attitude right there is what caused the conquering of America. These individual petty tribes did not care what happened to their fellow man over petty little things, petty differences between the tribes. They did not realize that the conquering of these tribes is also conquering me. They didn't realize that. And then what did they put in their place of these conquered tribes? They put mostly Europeans. You know, that's where you get the $5 thing. Because, okay, this is what ain't been said about $5 Indians. Let me say it. Poor white trash. You had poor white trash that had no future. These people had no future, no bloodline. So what they saw as government benefits was given to natives. So poor white trash started connecting themselves to these natives. And they got bingo with these casinos was given. But that's what you see. A lot of poor white trash call themselves natives. And I'm a little liquored up with the beer, but I'm talking shit, and it's that's part of it too. Yet people with no bloodline had no way to get to wealth other than by being somebody else. So, wanted to put that out there. Well, let's see. It'll be it's going to be under that. Okay. Right here. 99. So, yeah, that's part of history. So what granite has, and here's the example, is pink granite. It has paramagnetic resonance. It has the highest paramagnetic resonance of all the stones and creates immense energy. So this is why the Georgia Guidestones were there, and this is why they got blew up by their own people. Whatever energy, whatever ritual was done, whatever they brought up was done on that day. So, neither did those Guidestones. Okay, and the urgence in the ground that makes the seeds more fertile, vitamins, nutrients. They killed it with chemicals. Man, that's a good point. Because they worried about the bugs. As I said, you know what they did with bugs, and the same with rodents? Okay. When there was too many bugs or too many rodents, all the people went out there and they swatted that shit. All the people worked because they knew the importance of protecting these crops. So the people would go out there and swat the bugs, kill the rodents. They had the little cats and shit, whatever, but the people went out there as a group and took care of the bugs. They didn't use anything else but the people, because the people knew that was what's going to take them through the next season. So, it was exploded with 403 with 33 seconds. Wow. The Guidestones, yep. They took them down. Yeah, stolen records. It's been said that it was, he jumped. It's been said that it was many trees on a squirrel can go from one to another, from Florida to Maine. Yeah. I mean, I understand that. but I even say a greater point, Lorenzo. I even go a greater point. The trees is one of the few networks before the internet and before, we have the wires that go under the Atlantic Ocean to Europe. That's how we got connected to Europe. It was telephone wires that went under the ocean, wires. But the trees, see, non-locality means that we are non-locality. So non-locality means that so what it really means is, okay, so magnets are a local source. You understand? For the magnet to be powerful, it sticks together. They got to be together. Well, what humanity has is we have what's called non-locality. Non-locality goes with consciousness, and consciousness does not need a main source to continue or move or ever be created. It was just there. And so we are able to feel something here, but also we are able to feel something there, if that really makes sense at all. So we don't need the main thing to connect. And it goes into non-locality, goes into the monkeys. One monkey learns a new thing, then all the monkeys in the whole world know it. I guess that's the best way that's a better example than I was giving. I was struggling there for a second, but that's non-locality. And so, hey, DT, how you doing? That almost sounds like Gil Scott Heron. Live Angel Dust when they went from Maine to Miami, and it's part to get you to hear the YouTube is dope. Okay. The real ginseng. Lightning hit the guide stones. Okay. I don't know, LeBron. Possible energy weapon, whether for us or but I think what Sly said and others, you got cameras and you ain't showing no cameras. The motherfuckers walking up to them and putting shit. So the grid connecting. Gil Scott is my guy. I love his record. Washington, D.C. I think what you talking about. I liked him with The Last Poets. I like The Last Poets too. Not just Gil, but when he was with The Last Poets too. Live in solid color, living in color. We owe it to Jack. Please do it for you. It's 22 minutes of going through the cycle. Offices of Angel Dust from the beginning is dope, but earphones on if you smoke weed and enjoy. I mean, I think it was a good point to say that the revolution will be televised. He was just saying all these eyes, but also he was predicting the phones, the camera phones, predicting all this, it's going to be televised. And it ain't changing them, Think about that. It's televised, but it ain't changing them. They knew. It's like the Rodney King thing. It almost looks, if you look at the Rodney King thing, it almost looks like it's orchestrated. Because again, it's supposed to, emotional. Like you really believe that people now this is how emotional they want to get you to be. You really want to believe that they shot a young man running away 90 times and hitting him 60. You're already seeing what they're trying to put together. 6, 9, the 6 sixes. I mean, that ain't believable. That story ain't believable. The minute I heard that they shot at him 90 times, hit him 60, it made me think of Emmett Till. It's overkill. It's overkill. He's running away, has not shot at you, but yet you throw these numbers. So it's the same race baiting, the race thing. That is not a believable story. It's not a believable story. That meant when Reagan spoke about Star Wars and UN extraterrestrial threat, Liberty's 84, when they brought the UFO set down, Pasadena Coliseum, liftoff, no helipads. Gil Scott Heron was talking about along with William Cooper. I'm not a big William Cooper fan. I understand control opposition, and that's what I get from him and Alex Jones. It's not like all of it is bad, but a lot of what they say be working for them folks. So I don't know. And there's no holographs that UFO. There's no holographs with a UFO that they landed in the Coliseum and let people out of it and took off up Coliseum. No strings attached. Okay. I didn't know about that one. I don't remember that one. But the UFO people is the government. That's always been the UFO people. It's the government, no doubt. Government has always had a hand in that. I mean, again, the I think let me. My brother has said, the World Wide Web came from CERN, but I'm gonna even say go back further. The World Wide Web is for the military. That's what it's for. It's for them to communicate faster. Now, who they need to communicate faster with, it was for them first. This is military application. We got the leftovers. They said, hell, we got all this out and we put all this money in it. We might as well get taxpayer money back from it. So they found a way to get both taxpayer and individual money. I mean, ultimately, really, all TV should be pretty much selective. But when you get these cable plans, you got to pay for all this shit you ain't going to never watch. When really you should just be able to say, okay, I want HBO, Cinemax, I want ESPN. You should be able to say that, but you can't. I spoke with the last part some years ago, and they miss Hydra and Mercilessly. As I told them, it was their brother. The last pause is really the Warriors drum and the X Clan. Verbal mic. Okay. Getting a little creative. All right. I feel you. I feel better. I'll say this. I feel better. Still, I noticed my chiropractor didn't crack my neck. He did last week, but he didn't crack it today. I'm feeling better. It was like I can be active and feel good, be at work, feel good. But as soon as I stop moving around, just get all this stiffness in my shoulders and in my neck. I went to see him today. Feel a little better. Hate to take more. I take tramadols every day. I hate to take more than one a day. Because like my brother says, you get to take them opiates too much, that shit'll give you restless leg syndrome like a motherfucker. That's coming off. That's, when you stop trying to take opiates, that's the first thing you get is you get that. To get off opiates kind of feeling, the feeling that it gives you is, again, I'm thinking about old toys, but it's almost like you got the old punching bags, how it would balance as you hit the kind of thing, it had the weight in the bottom and you would hit it, old clowns or whatever it used to be. It's like that almost, but it's like you're laying there and your body wants this opiate. So everything is firing, your nerves want it, everything wants it. And the energy becomes so intense that you're feeling everything needing this. And so your body is telling you to give it more of this. So it creates this restlessness in you. It really does. It's a really restlessness stuff. And I felt that a little bit yesterday because one day I felt really bad and had to take two. And I rarely take two. I mean, like years. I only take one of this shit because I know what it can do. But I felt that just, taking two one day a week ago. So, in the 80s song, I said, I hope you don't need a piece of land. That's what they told him supposedly on the moon when they told him not to come back. And, the moon is tied into Marduk, too. Remember White on the Moon? Yeah, the moon is tied into Marduk. Remember, Ascension, again, tells the story of Marduk. And Marduk, at first Marduk, let me get this right. So Marduk builds, they tell you the way station is Mars. So the story is they do all the gold, and then the way station is take the gold to Mars, and then Mars can kick it to where they're going. But also, Marduk builds a station on the moon. That is what, if you watch Umbrella Academy, they allude to, is Marduk also being on the moon. So, but yeah, y'all, study that kind of thing. That's what they allude to. I mean, the moon can't be what they say it is. I mean, it's no way. But none of this is really what they say it is. It's Quantum of Thought brought up that movie on with Selma Hayek, and I forget the name of the movie, but it's a scene. I watched some of the movie, and it's like they're in a reality, and she sees this guy, and she's like, "You're real." And it's like that. Now, it's really like that. I was just kind of trying to explain that to my daughter. So it's like this. You take your car out on the road, I would say 99% when you go out of your house and you go out on the road, 99% of the things you see are not real. I'm going to say that. Almost everything you see is not real unless you have to interact with it. But if you don't interact with it, it ain't really real. It ain't really real. Now, and that goes back to the movie where she finally recognized the real person. And driving, you see the most people you're going to see generally driving, and they're not really real. But now, well, when we go back to the Matrix, what did they say in the Matrix? Do not think you can bend the spoon. That's impossible. You have to realize that the spoon is not there. Then you bend it. That's what I was trying to explain to my daughter. So what that means is, yes, if you go out there and drive, you run into a goddamn car, you're going to crash your shit. All right? But the thing is that I teach is to be invisible to the car. So you won't, you do the night repelling spell, and I can go over all that. You be invisible to all that. So you don't get, you don't get ran into, because you can get ran into. You got to look for the other people. All right. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give just the simplest way to tell you on how to repel cops and cars. Cops and other cars. So, it's pretty simple. Quantify. I quantified. But it is. It's a pretty easy process, so I'll give it to you guys. I'll give it to you just to start these habits. Everything comes from Earth. As I said before, with cars, you can get so much emotion with cars. Cars appreciate every little thing you do to them, oil change, all that. Everything you do to a car appreciates because it comes from Earth. But one of the most important things is consistently, this is the most important thing, consistently, you have to approach your car in the same way every time. Every time. Now, what can I show? So, now, in your house, if your car, the end is parked this way, you come out of your house, if you got to go here your car or there your car, do that the same way every time. If you live out of apartments and your car is parked in the lot, or even if your car is parked out of your garage, approach your car the same way. Go to your door the same way. Now, even if you live somewhere and you back in and your nose is here, walk around your car to approach the door the same way. Or if you come here, you approach the door the same way. That's the first part of it. You always have to approach your car the same way. So that's what I'll give you. Now, I can't give every scenario the way your car is facing, but you have to approach it the same way. Now, that even goes to when you go to the store. Get out your car, leave your car the same way that you're going to come back to. So you go to the store. If you go behind your car and go to the store, if you go in front of your car, you got to do it the same way. So that's the easiest way I can teach you without charging you. That is the easiest way. So let me get to see what Marduk and Talamat. Yeah, that goes into Sentient's work. Have you ever, the beam of light that came over the dome of the rock, for which there was a ball of light came down the dome of the rock, not by the government, neither. No, I haven't heard of that, but I'll give you a little bit of something else I saw. As I said before, like you can go out and look at the planets, and you can use a crystal. And what happens is you want to concentrate so much where you see not the crystal split. Let me get this right. Okay, yeah. So you put this, like say you take a crystal and you look at the moon. You don't want to see the moon split. You want to see the crystal split. And so you want to shape your intentions and shape your, what is the word I'm looking for? You want to concentrate on the crystal, not the planet. So you put it up there at the planet, and you want to see the crystal separate, not the planet. Because if the planet separates, that's just your eyes, screwing. But you want to make sure that the crystal separates. Once the crystal separates, you kind of look at the in-between area of where it separates. And you can, but you don't necessarily have to. However, and I bring this up for something I saw yesterday to try to get you to understand what I saw yesterday. So in this state, if you can catch this state, and again, it's a very hard state to hold, even for me, and I've done this for years. It's to hold this. It doesn't. I can't hold it for a long time because again, you have to concentrate on the crystal. So you kind of have to stare at the crystal, but yet you want to look all around you. Do you understand? So you kind of it's multitasking, but you're looking really hard at the crystal, but yet you master the ability to kind of look around you. And as I said before, once you look around you, you see the trees in their natural form. Yeah, you see the trees in their natural form. You see nature in its natural form doing this. Now, I bring this up to tell you what happened the other day. And again, I've been doing this for the last few years where I can see the trees in their natural state, just their natural energy. I mean, it's just, you still see the tree there, but they show a different color. The tree looks totally different. And I don't mean not like a tree, but I'm just saying, and if you can hold this with the crystal, you can see how the tree naturally is. Sometimes it's faces in trees, but I bring this up for something different. I'm coming home Tuesday night. We're supposed to have a storm. I'm getting near my home. All of a sudden, other states it was different colors. They was trying to say it was like a yellowish red here. But what I saw was the natural state of what I do with a crystal. I saw something make this whole reality show that in the trees. The colors the trees wasn't, whatever was done was done. This same thing I'm telling you, I can see the natural state of the trees. This was done over everything. This was done over everything. And again, they attribute this to showing the yellowness. No, it didn't just show yellow. It showed the natural state of these trees. It shows these trees in a state that only I can hold for a few minutes. And I'm looking at this shit for 7 or 8 minutes that is done by the discoloration of wherever the reality brought in. This discoloration they brought in did that kind of activation where you saw the trees, the energy signature of the trees. And that's the only way I can explain it to you. So if you saw those colors, I'm pretty sure that was Tuesday. This is what was done. I don't know why they did this, but this was done. So wanted to get that out there. So I wish, and I guess, man, I made a mistake not filming. Again, I was driving and went home. But when I'm driving, I'm looking at the trees and I'm seeing their colors. And I'm like, whoa, what can do this? So whatever went through was powerful. I'll say that. Whatever they brought through, that shit was powerful as shit. And so been watching Umbrella Academy. And again, every time the reality, this pulse is sitting out, that's what it reminded me of. Some type of pulse was sent out with that discoloration. So I don't know, y'all. Can't describe it. Can't tell you what it is. Can't tell you what it is, but that shit was crazy. And not crazy insane. Crazy insane. Crazy insane. But thank you for the nice, kind words when I wasn't feeling well. As I said, sitting was the hardest thing. Sitting doing this for a while was hard. Working was cool, but sitting. So I feel better from seeing a chiropractor. But if I'm still sore in my shoulders and I ain't did shit, I probably have to get therapy. So Yes, CERN was fired up. I did think about that. My brother and I talked about that. Yeah. And if you understand how programs ain't got to be fast, programs and weather ain't got to be fast. They can send this shit slowly through. That was my other thought with CERN and how slowly they can sweep it over. Remember what they did a couple years ago. I made a video of this. I said that they were showing rainbows, and these was holograms. They was doing rainbows. It was holograms, and I think in this channel I did a video last summer because you were seeing the same hologram. People were showing it on Facebook. Everybody was showing, but it was the same thing over and over again. It was a hologram I saw here. I'm like, that is not, because rainbows start from the ground. I don't know if people ever realize that if you see a rainbow, I don't know if you guys ever seen a rainbow. A rainbow starts from the ground. Rainbow ain't some shit in the sky. You see a rainbow, you can see a rainbow start in the ground and go up into the sky. So, crystals are tools, definitely. Oh, Barbara, that is so kind of you. All is well with me. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. That is so kind of you, Barbara. So I feel better, I feel better. We'll see if I need therapy because I had therapy on my neck before. But I just thought when I hit my head, because I fell, man, I fell from about 3 feet, boom, hit the table. Can you imagine from way up here to where this table is? Just all my weight, boom. So I was feeling nerve damage, but I think what I was feeling is swelling. I probably had a lot of swelling, and now that the swelling is going down, I'm not feeling as bad. So, but thank you for the kind words. That's nice. I'm an old guy. Old guy slamming his head against the table don't feel good. You're saying rainbows around the moon. Damn. Rainbows around the moon. Interesting. Interesting. I've come across that somewhere, but not very often. I like that. I definitely like that. I don't think I have any notes. Let me see. Yeah, I did want to say this. I want to say this. Again, I'm from Michigan, and being from Michigan, I grew up in unions. My father, even though my stepfather was part of management, all his friends that worked for the plant was part of the union. So I grew up around unions. Now, when my stepfather retired, and not my stepfather, just my stepfather, my grandfathers, both one grandfather might have passed by then, but I know my other grandfather, when they retired, their deal was, again, they got their pension, and then they got medical for life. Well, roughly 20 some years ago, GM cried, and GM said it was costing them $1 billion a year to pay medical. Despite having a contract that said they were going to pay these people's medical, they cut out their medical. All right. Now, Biden was in, did I write down what state? Sorry, I didn't write down what state. Biden was sent somewhere, and I want to say Ohio, Indiana, somewhere in the Midwest. These dudes saying they money getting cut, they pensions. Now, pension and IRA means you put in money. Now, I will give the quantifier of some are set up where they give you matching benefits. So you put in so much, the company puts in so much. I do understand that is there. That tended to even open up the way more for 401ks. But pension is supposed to be, money that really you put in, your investment. So they shouldn't touch pensions. And these people talking about their pensions been cut. They tried to go after General Motors retirees' money, and they got stopped. But apparently these other unions, they're able to go after their money. So if you guys have anything to offer with that, wow. Wow. I heard some deep shit last night too. Um, the bees don't really see like we see and shit, and the bees are somewhat, on all flying things. They have a kind of thing with the sun, the center of the planet, whatever that may be, that helps them move around. But I was listening to some deep shit, and bees are so in tune to nature, and nature is so in tune with us, where bees don't even have to look for pollen because pollen makes a sound. So as you know, there are some bees that are attracted to the colors, some different things. Butterflies attracted to the colors, but pollen also gives off a sound. Oh, so nature is just so beautiful the way it works with us. So the bees can hear the pollen. I wanted to pass that along. Might have been Ohio. Wherever Biden went, Ponzi scheme. And they antennas. Yeah, and their antennas. Yeah, and their antennas. Their antennas. They can hear the shit. So I thought that was pretty deep. Let me see if I can find this quickly. But yeah. As I said before, the most mounds they found, and the most mounds that were destroyed was destroyed in St. Louis and were destroyed in Wisconsin. More mounds were destroyed in Wisconsin than anywhere. Wisconsin was, per mile, the most mounds than anywhere they ever found. The most mounds was found in Wisconsin. And I didn't really have a lot of stuff to show you about Wisconsin mounds, but here we go. These are a lot of the shapes they found, and this is actually Wisconsin mound. These are the shapes they found in Wisconsin. So you can actually go visit this stuff. And these were other. Whoops. Let me make sure that you guys. Yeah, Dade County, Wisconsin. You can find these mounds shaped like animals. Dade County, Wisconsin. So if anybody sees it, And we know the Mormons found something that gave them a whole state. And again, this is in Wisconsin. So they don't want you to connect to this ancient history. They don't want you to connect to this ancient history. They don't want you to look at the ball field as part of creation. They just want you to look at it for sport, not knowing that there's a spiritual connection with it. And basketball is the most spiritual because it gives you instant gratification. And you need to think about what it is with basketball. You don't need a net or nothing, but you just got to have a ball in the hoop. And you get rewarded every time you put it in the hoop. Every time you put it in the hoop, you get a reward. So there's not too many things in life that give you that instant reward for your effort. All you got to do is put it in the hoop, you get the reward. So wanted to throw that out there. But that's the spiritual aspect of it. And then they wrote the book, The Souls of Black Folks. Well, the souls. The souls, you dig? The souls. And it goes into worrying about yourself. When I was a child, let me see. When I was a child, it was a house that had a tree in the yard, and where I can look at the tree and know what season it was just by looking at it. Wow. That shows you was in tune. You paid enough attention to it. And absolutely, like I have the mother tree that I've been, dealing with going on 6 years now. And I can see, it's the biggest tree in this area. I mean, for miles, it's the biggest tree by far for miles. And, I look at the seasons, and it's so big that it wants to feed. And sometimes you can see it gets food, but even when it starts feeding, because like we'll get them patches of sunny day, like January, February, we get some sunny days, maybe in March, and then we'll have a freeze afterward. It's so big and it has so many limbs and leaves that the limbs that die is okay because it's like, hey, this shit is, it's showing some shit I'm going to feed, because that's what happens is the trees wake up. The trees are the best. I even say the trees are better than the insects because the trees need very little to sustain. And the trees now, as I said, we torture the trees now as they go deep. It's the wires down there and shit. It's all kind of shit to, they gotta like this mother tree. It's concrete all around it. You can see the way it had to grow sideways to get long, but it's had to go under this road. I know where under my driveway and shit. The apartment driveway. It's had to come under the apartments behind it. It's had to do the same way, go under so much of this concrete. So it's, you look at a tree that sits on your yard and your yard got a street and your yard got a sidewalk. That tree done caught hell just to live. It's got pipes under it. So most trees that we live around don't do what we need it to do for us as far as the oxygen and all that. I mean, they're suffering so much. How can they give us much? Look at the trees around you. And as I said before, and this is no shade on any of the people, but what you got to look at is, what created the Dust Bowl, what created this. They literally, once they killed most of the Eastern people, and not killed them, but displaced them, they went after the land, they went after the animals, because that's the main complaint. The Europeans went Western, that was the main complaint of the people who live in Western. Like, wait a minute, now, there's not as much. The animals are not around that we hunt and stuff because they are here encroaching on our lands. And it was almost like they said, Smith talking about Europeans when he talks about a virus. I mean, he's talking about Europeans. The Europeans have been a virus everywhere on this world they went. And again, there's no shame in anybody, not individuals. Don't take that. But I'm saying it's a virus. If you study European history, they are either in plague or they in war. That's European history, plague or war. And even the Bibles, the Hebrew Israelites will show you the Bibles. What did they go through there? Plagues and war. So that shows you that is what the European was about, plague and war. And they brought sicknesses here, as I said before. That's against universal. They knew they weren't supposed to come over here. They shouldn't have been allowed to come over here. And, I know Barmer was like, well, people want to go back. Well, they went back. They definitely changed history. There's no way the history is believable. Especially make most motherfuckers believe that slave shit. Make you think that slavery, that Reconstruction wasn't worse than slavery. That's mind-blowing to some people. They want to keep slavery because they don't want to admit what was done in Reconstruction. See, it was the Civil War, then there was the war against the melanated people by what's called poor white trash. There was a war after the Civil War. I mean, North Carolina calls it a war. Tennessee, the governor of Tennessee, like melanated people, he kicked the Klan's ass. That's interesting. That should be a movie. He fucked up the Klan. You understand? This to study about that governor of Tennessee that went after the Klan. He fucked them up. And the U.S. gave the poor white trash. That's what they did. They pulled out the troops. I disagree with the person who said there wasn't enough troops. That's bullshit. There was more than enough troops. But they made an agreement. It goes back to Harrison. So, not slavery. The way, again, slavery was working. Wasn't that bullshit, Mandingo? Why do you think they made up all that shit? Why do y'all think they made up all that shit? It was like that. Why? Instead of looking at them and saying Reconstruction was way worse than slavery. They brought viruses and Black Plague, yes. And they know they ain't going back because they know the Son of Man ride from the west. what happened in Reconstruction. I mean, Reconstruction was as I said, if you watch the movie 12 Years a Slave and you believe this shit chattel, you know, chattel slavery, that slaves was looked at as animals. Well, animal ain't gonna do skilled work. Animal you can ride him, he can plow, but he ain't gonna do skilled work. As I said, before the Civil War, 99% of skilled labor was melanated people in the South. Now, if you believe that they could break up families, 12 Years a Slave shows you what happens when you take a woman's babies from her. Women would go crazy. So if that's just one instance, how would that go, the whole thing, you taking babies from people? You think they're productive people? If it's going to make a person go crazy? So that wasn't done a lot. No. Sharecropping existed before the Civil War. So if you had certain skills, you would hire yourself off to a person, and that would be your employer. You'd go live there, he'd clothe you, feed you, pay you. And if you wanted to go off his plantation, go work for other people, you'd go work for other people, pay him a little something too. That is slavery. Do you know how many poor Europeans did not have slaves? They would have to go hire you. So they would have to go to where you worked, pay you, and pay the person where you live that you work for. That's slavery. Let me say this again. If somebody needed your skill, they would go to your boss, pay your boss, and then pay you to go help them do what they needed to be done. This is the slavery they tell you that you getting beat and shit. Who the fuck is going to work for somebody that pulls your teeth out so they can stick shit down your mouth? Who's going to work for somebody that's beating you and shit? Who's going to work for something that's buck breaking you and raping your ladies? People always like to fuck. That ain't never went away. You know, the Thomas Jefferson shit, you know, that shit. Well, you know, she couldn't say no. This chick is living on a mansion, living in the house. He been looking at you. Your sister just died, because you know Sally Jennings was the sister of his first wife. She probably favored the sister. So you know how, like, even their own family. We had one that got the sister pregnant, then he ended up marrying the younger sister. My brother and I was just talking about that. So this shit, they couldn't say, I mean, that's that Uncle Tom's Cabin shit to make you think. And let's even get to the big picture. Sharecropping was done in great numbers by our people, not necessarily what was called poor white trash, because they did not have the skill. Do you understand? As I said, go watch Gone with the Wind. Don't even talk to them poor white trash, is what they say. The rednecks, crackers, was looked at lower than the skilled people during slavery. And what happened? A lot of the rednecks, crackers, poor white trash was in the Civil War. When it came back to where melanated people were going to have a fair chance, the people that were the most ignited was the poor white trash, the lower class. Not the upper class that worked with these people. They was working with them. It was the poor white trash that got funded. They were called the Red Pants when they took over Wilmington. So this is the real history. These are the real people in the reality we live in now. Jim Crow was way worse than slavery. And that's where reparations, because of Jim Crow and the government's inaction. Again, the Northern troops should have stayed in the South until the 60s. And another reality, that's what happened. The Northern troops stayed in the South until the 60s. They had to stay in the South for 100 years before the poor white trash was defeated. It took them 100 years to defeat them. Is this enough? Oh, shit. I don't know if I'm going to drink all that. How long have I been going? I might can go a little longer. So, he said, I thought I thought Roots was the most exaggerated slave movie until I came across Uncle Tom's Cabin. The original Uncle Tom's Cabin, but again, this was again, you know, if if your rallying cry is to end slavery, of course you need an Uncle Tom's Cabin. You need propaganda. Uncle Tom's Cabin is propaganda. Same way with Birth of a Nation is propaganda. It wasn't the way it was done. Birth of a Nation was made to rile up poor white trash. Come on, look who it's made at. It wasn't smarter people. Oh shit, I'm getting stiff in the shoulders. Yeah, sittings becomes hard. I don't think the chair is going to make a difference. I really get stiff in the shoulders. Yeah, I gotta go get some fresh sage and sweetgrass. But again, don't believe me. Look it up. Look it up. It's all in there. What did he put? I missed it. Alligator bait. Yeah, that all that bullshit they put in there. And Roots was also Roots was a stolen story from the woman that made. No, you off on that, Archangel. Roots was taken from another man that wrote a book called The African, and he directly copied some of that shit from the book The African. So you can look that up. That's who he stole it from. He stole it from the dude who wrote the book The African. Conspiracy University. How you doing, man? Hope everything's going your way. Okay. Thank you for joining me. They couldn't sit on that like that. They died. UV radiation. Hey, Trunks, thank you for joining me, bro. Hey, Conspiracy, how you doing, man? So, do your own research. You can find this stuff. It ain't really hidden. They don't want children to learn this stuff. That it wasn't that they were so rotten in slavery. They was rotten after slavery. I was read a real push. And the Northern, again, the Northerners, if you think the North was any better, look at the busing situation in Boston in 1972. And one of the most popular pictures is a picture of a European holding an American flag about to stab a brother in the neck in the stomach with this flag. Look that picture up over busing in Boston. Look up Bill Russell's story in living in Boston. When he quit playing, he stayed away from Boston for almost 20 plus years. They showed this in the movie Winning Time. They broke in his house, shit on his bed. That's where the shit story come from with Johnny Depp. They broke in Bill Russell's house, tore off all his trophies that he got from college and the NBA, broke all his trophies that they found, shit on his bed. So if you want to hear the shit story, that's the story of Bill Russell. When he was living in Boston, and the fans cheered him when he played, but because he lived in a nicer neighborhood. It's still Jim Crow. This is under Jim Crow. Jim Crow wasn't just in the South. It was in all of America, even here in Minneapolis. When they talk about, redlining and all that, where you couldn't live, that's Jim Crow. They want to put other names under Jim Crow, but it's still Jim Crow. And it was almost like Jim Crow was a system of government in some ways. The government accepted it. Remember, separate but equal. That was bullshit. Separate but equal when they already knew it wasn't equal. But one thing that separate or equal did, created black colleges. So, and the birth of the boule, because they knew niggas had to be controlled. That's what the boule is about, is controlling niggas, capturing bright minds, putting them under control, putting them under us. And this is what gets me about college-educated people. You see these motherfuckers throwing gang signs, Kappas, Qs, Mason signs. They're Mason signs. I'm sorry, gang signs. Gang signs are Mason. Isn't it funny that the gangs use Mason signs? Why is that? Why do gangs use Mason signs? You guys thought about that before? Because the gangs use Mason signs. Them signs existed before these gangs. Yep. Why do they highlight it in the South? Of course, because they want you to think the South is evil. But it was all over America. I mean, even going to L.A., you see them put the divide. What is the show I just watched where they showed in L.A. when they was putting all the, the Mexican brothers and sisters, and they put the highway. What was that show that was in the fall? They showed that. Can't remember it, but it showed where they put the highway. Again, taking away land, dividing the city. So these are the kind of things they do. So look into your cities, because the cities was very secular. Yeah, the Boule came to exist in 1904. Right. Yeah, they all throw the same signs, of course. It's Mason stuff. Why is that? Why did the Masons come into the gangs? Why did the Masons come into the fraternities? All frats, even the girls. Well, which one is that? You got the girls or women doing this. Come on, it's Mason shit. And being the sororities is no different than being the Eastern Star. This prepares you. It prepares you. The woman that has the tapes of Larry Hoover was supposed to be the one that wrote Roots in the Matrix. Yeah, nah, she didn't write Roots. She didn't write Roots. Roots came from him. Alex Haley was the FBI agent, and Malcolm agreed to get his book done by FBI agent. So it tells you all you need to know about Malcolm. But yeah, I feel you, Archangel. But yeah, it comes from he got sued in court from plagiarizing the book The African. So you can look that up. I know the lady that says she wrote the Matrix movie. She is credited with a lot, but what victories has she had? She hasn't had to pay anybody, So I haven't seen where she's got paid. She's still trying to do the speaking engagements. She ain't got the loot that they say that she won. So the idea is already out there, and it's not like other people. And I will say this, as I was saying, when I said maybe we should put together awareness community, and that Lucid Living chick copied that, and then she came around and said, well, maybe we all came up with it at the same time. That can't happen. Now, she copied my shit. I'll say that. Lucid Living, you copied my shit, but that's okay. But as I said before, Alexander Graham Bell, within an hour of him putting his patent in the American, up in DC, with the American Patent Office, it was a dude that did the same thing in Germany a half hour later. So they had no communication. Again, non-locality, but the way the Matrix, the way the Techno God gave each of them, because that comes from the Techno God. We forget that telephones come from the Techno God. Same with the photograph, same with pictures. That's all Techno God work. We don't think so, but it is. Same with Edison creating the phonograph to hear their vibrations from them, and the pictures and the recordings. Edison, created the recordings too, the tape recorder. I don't know if y'all knew that. They did Jabbar. They did Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Family File 2. Harold Contier was the one that sued Alex Haley for Roots. Thank you, Lorenzo. Yeah, I think he's the one that wrote The African. I am part of the Jesuit Order, and you're welcome in our lodge. Jay from the block. I am part of the Jesuit Order and 33 degree Mason. You're welcome in our lodge. Well, that's okay. That's nice. Okay. Jay, that's positive. Jay said you're welcome. Okay. That's cool. He said there's no secrets. That's positive. I ain't hating on you, Jay. I ain't hating on you because I know other 33. My brother's a 32nd degree Mason. He's not Jesuit, though. I'll say that. Surprised that you admit being a Jesuit, though. Because I said before, and Zach even had to change his rap because I was telling him, them peoples became Jesuits. And so the first time when Zach was talking about that, he wasn't saying it was them peoples, but then later he had to, well, some of them. But as I said, if you look at Inquisition, you go into deep study of Inquisition, you see that what happened, what swelled the Jesuits' ranks was Inquisition, because a lot of Jewish faith people became Catholics because it was. I mean, Isabella was kind of nice about it. Again, they would put your ass in the rack, but if you was Jewish faith and you just confessed and said and started doing all the rituals, you became Catholic. I mean, she was kind of easy on the motherfuckers. He was like, fuck this Jewish faith shit. We be coming with you. Yes, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. We going to all the ceremonies. They was letting them in like that. That's part of, if you study Inquisition, they were letting them in large numbers. Large numbers. And again, don't believe the lie, because there's a big lie that tries to tell you that Isabella and Ferdinando paid for Columbus's first trip. That's a lie. That's a lie in history. They didn't have the money, number one. They just went to war. They just put the boot to ass to all the Jewish faith people in the Inquisition, and they just went to war with the Moors to get them out of Grenada. Or Granada, excuse me, it's a different pronunciation. So they was at war. She did not have money. That's where the problem I have with the Time Walking Papers. They tried to say that that she was able to pay El Zaga all this money, and it's in the world Guinness Book of World Record for buying a country. But where's the money come from? I mean, this when Isabella beat the Moors, they was on their last. She had sold all the jewelries to Jewish paid people, all the crown jewels. I mean, so that part, there's no money there, but that is how Isabella did it. And remember, when Inquisition first hit in first few years, man, you talking about putting Jewish faith people on the rack and murking them? Yeah, that's what happened early Inquisition. It got so bad where they had to make them ease up. The people that lived around her, they were like, hey, ease up. Even the Pope had to come in. Y'all putting boot to ass too much to these Jewish faith people. Ease up on them. And they made them ease up. But at first, they went after them like no one else. And they don't talk about this. But look it up. It's there. They went after him, not like the Nazis did. Nazis gave him a chance. So they say. But yeah, Inquisition, they didn't give him a chance. It was like, you be one of us, or we fucking you up. In the movie Ernie Express, the first black Heisman, okay. They also made it look like segregation, racism just went in southern states like West Virginia and Texas. Yeah, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. Everywhere. What's your take and thoughts on Kinsley, MK Ultra experiments? Let me answer Lorenzo's question and I'll get to that. Yeah, Lorenzo, it was everywhere. Everywhere was segregated cities. I mean, Chicago is the basic example of that. Chicago, I don't ever remember Chicago not being a segregated city. I mean, again, Jewtown used to be in Chicago. Jewtown. That's what this area was called. Jewtown. Cicero was all the Italians live. What is the town where all the gypsies live? I'm talking about gypsies. Them gypsies got a town outside of Chicago. Chilhouette, something like that. So, yeah, Chicago's but all the northern cities, very segregated. All the northern cities, again, practice what they do across the country. Most of the melanated people live in two places, across the tracks or on the north side. Here, prime example, Michigan, where I'm from, prime example. Why is it that most melanated people live on the north side? So, your thoughts on Kinsey? What's my thought on it? Well, a lot of disruption that came in the 60s. Okay, give you a perfect example. So what we saw in Vietnam is we saw soldiers coming back and soldiers started telling the truth on what the fuck was going on in Vietnam. Do you understand? Soldiers was coming back. You already had the early war unit. You had these soldiers did their 12 months coming back and telling on what the fuck is going on over here. Again, they picked John Kerry, Skull and Bones, to talk shit about the soldiers. Senate wanted to hear, they picked John Kerry. John Kerry stood on the boat. He wasn't any real shit. But again, they put a Skull and Bone member to talk shit about American troops. So I say this is all these movements, the hippie movement in some ways goes back to the beatnik movement of the 50s. Some ways was started and controlled by the government. The government, again, they want to be head of trouble. And so a lot of the anti-government movement, as I said, if you look at the Ku Klux Klan in the 1940s to the 1960s was started by the FBI. You had 200, what was it? It was 150 units of new Klan memberships in cities, and more than half was started by the FBI. These Klan FBI. Same way. And that's why people get mad when I talk about Huey Newton and Bobby Seale starting the Panthers. You got light skin, dark skin. Willie Lynch, when you look at them. Again, Panthers created by the FBI. So that's what the MK Ultra turned into. They were able to, and let me, let's not put Timothy Leary that invented, the guy who be here now was part of that movement, with Timothy Leary inventing LSD. Again, Europeans was going down there trying to take some of these chemicals. They couldn't reach it. Tim Be Here Now, he tells you, they was trying to take the shit that the natives took, and they couldn't reach it. So they were able to look at the chemicals, break it down synthetically, and make fake whatever the chemical was. Came out LSD. The Europeans could break through, because there was a reality the Europeans was locked out of. We could take this shit and get away from these motherfuckers. They had to take LSD and was like, oh shit, this is what these niggas is doing. So they had to get people to take this shit enough where they could go in there and fight. If you understand how they control. Because there was a whole, as I said before, and this ain't calling people stupid, but this is what the reality is. When Columbus and them came over here, and even we can go to Cortez, the highest beings wasn't living on land anymore. Especially by the time Cortez came. The highest beings was already living away from the land. So they could not get to that. And when they tell you the fountain of youth and all this kind of shit, they trying to get to, because they knew it was something else there. But they couldn't get to it. I've said this, LIDAR is about that. It's trying to take down these generators. They need to try to find all these generators that's holding and helping this shit stay up. So the ones that were left, they weren't the blessed people, I guess you could say. I don't know. So I think the book was The Mound Builders of Ancient America by E. Barrler, if you still here. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, this one, I'm going to tell you, man, this is a great book. I tried to say it was hard reading, not really. This is a great book. If you really want to kind of understand the types of pyramids, the types of structures, this gives great detail. I'm really enjoying this book as I'm getting through it, and the Wisconsin stuff. So that's this one. That's this one. And this one I got 4 or 5 other books coming. And that's the new one. I haven't read this one. But this is by a botanist. She's a botanist, so I'm kind of looking forward to the kind of stuff. So, yeah. Or you could always, email me and stuff. And I'm getting that book. Sly talked about European slavery in the South. I found it. The one he showed sold out, but I found the book. So I'm not gonna get it for a couple weeks, but I'm getting it. So, also the movie told some truths about us. The Ivory guy said that Ebony, and I'm going to knock you back to Africa. The Ebony guy said, I'm not from Africa, I'm from Philly. There you go. There you go. There you go. And it's like, Russell Simmons saying that shit about Tommy Hilfiger. Tommy Hilfiger grew up with Ernie Davis. So Tommy didn't say shit about his clothes. Tommy loved that people was wearing his clothes. And Russell Simmons didn't like that. Remember, he was putting his brand out, so he made some bullshit about Tommy's clothes. Because look up early Snoop Dogg, them videos, everybody's wearing Tommy shit. Look it up. And Russell Simmons didn't like that. He wanted them to wear, was it Pathfinder? Yeah. So that's where that shit about Tommy Hilfiger comes from. Watch some of them old videos. You see nothing but Tommy shit. Why do Europeans claim to be Cherokee? If you looked at the civilized tribes, the ones that they accepted in the government, they accepted Europeans. That's what they are. They're Europeans. I mean, not saying that their people didn't suffer. Like here, they hung 30 some of them. I thought, to me, like here at Fort Snelling, they hung 30 of them. But remember, the greatest victory in the Americas against the Europeans by melanated people came in Upper Minnesota. They wiped out 900 of them. Big force, it's not Custer's last stand. That's another great victory where we wiped out the army. The mistake of Custer's last stand is they should have fought all the way to St. Louis. And that would have been the stand. If they would have defeated the full 7th Army, Reno's division and all that, they defeated all of them, captured Reno's and them Gatling guns, did some reverse engineering, understanding how to make bullets, which is not that hard, and they could have fought their ass to St. Louis and made that be the line. You motherfuckers stay over there. Which was the same thing that Tecumseh tried to do with the Ohio River. You motherfuckers stay over there. And I'll say this is another thing that they allude to poor white trash is, they would make these treaties, but the poor white trash wouldn't listen. The poor white trash would just go like, fuck this. I'll go kill these people and live here. I'll get a group of my group. And we hear this today. I get a group of like-minded people. We'll go into these Indian lands and we'll kill Indians that come around and we'll go farm on their land. And the government, it's not that they encouraged it, but they didn't discourage it. But that's what we had happen over and over again. Tax benefits. Oh, yeah. And so you have these tribes that's just really Europeans pretending. But as I said here, I'll have to tell the whole story. The natives still get treated terrible. The ones that don't have casinos are still some of the poorest people in the Americas. They were never meant to drink alcohol. Just as crack destroyed melanated people and a lot of Europeans. I think crack wasn't really a problem until it affected Europeans. I don't know if people realize that. Like now they try to say, the heroin epidemic is affecting so many Europeans. But when crack started affecting large numbers of productive Europeans, because I watched large numbers of middle-class Europeans become lower class through crack. I watched my wife's family. These people were all middle class. That's all they knew. They was all middle class. By the time the crack era ended, not even ended, within 10 years, these people were all lower class people. Yeah. And the original ones that got into crack are all dead. And they my age, slightly older. My ex-wife's mother was only she's like 3 or 4 years older than me. She's dead. All 3 of her brothers are dead. So it took middle-class Europeans out too. So I'll say that. $5 Indians. The Indians in the Midwest were more warriors than the East. I don't know if I agree, Marcus. I don't know. Tupac, Aaliyah, Tyson, Bradford, Method Man, and many more ebony celebrities wore Tommy I would say there was a lie about Tommy, but it brought a lot of hip hop clothing. Yeah, yeah, that's what it was all about. Everybody was wearing Tommy. I mean, really, everybody. Back, let me see, Brennan was born in 95, 92, 93, 94. Everybody was wearing Tommy. I remember I had the first picture, and I threw this picture away. We broke up, like, fuck this picture. But I remember I had a Tommy top. She had a Tommy top, and we had a baby Tommy top on my son. Yeah. And that had to be 96 because he was still a baby when we took that picture. But I remember that picture. We always wear Tommy in the picture and shit. But yeah, everybody was wearing that shit. I mean, yeah, everybody. That's why it's funny when Corey Holcomb was talking about Jabos. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know. I'd never heard of that shit. And then some people was hinting, and I'm like, okay, I don't even know where people sold that shit. That shit was never expensive around me. Jabos, whatever that shit is, Corey Holcomb was talking about. And you know, Chicago was never. I never didn't go to Chicago. So I knew the vibe in Chicago. I knew the vibe in Detroit. So that shit wasn't shit I was wearing. I wasn't wearing that shit. And I was wearing Echo when it came out. And we know who ruined Echo. I'm not going to say names, but we know who ruined Echo. When you made Echo for everybody, Echo was popular. But then you made it to your fellow folks. Nobody wears that shit anymore. European Native Americans. Well, down south. Yeah, because you was serving them. Then people have problems with alcoholism, rape, suicide. Oh yeah, it's terrible on reservations. It's terrible. It is terrible before that. Like I've said here, I remember what this shit looks like that's not far from me. This shit was the brokest shit. You did not want to go there because you could get attacked. You just didn't fuck with these people, you know? And to look where they are now, I mean, it's better, you know, it's better that the people didn't have to suffer, but it turned into what we had last year with a little girl, European girl, one of the families, you know, one of the native families, talking shit, you know, and she had to leave. But it caused a problem down here, you know, bullying the people. You know, she thinks she's a European, and that's what they are. I mean, her whole life she's been told, you know, once her family got that money, you think she was saying she was native? She was saying native for the check, but she wasn't saying native for the lifestyle, if you understand that. Native, yes, we native check, but once the check was cashed, they didn't live a native life. And I've been there. These motherfuckers, you know, they're Europeans. They're Europeans. As I said, my daughter's godmother, before them people was rich, she wouldn't have thought nothing about them people. But now these poor Europeans, these middle class working Europeans, like being known, you know, because they rich, you know. This chick that Lori makes something like 300,000 a month. Now the little girl that talked shit, that got in all the trouble a few months ago or on social media, her family probably makes 700,000-800,000 a month. Because this girl, the girl that had to leave here, her family is related to like one of the top chiefs, and that's how it goes. It goes by the bloodline. So this top chief was his family was probably making, his daughter was probably making 800,000-900,000 a month, millions a year. What is that? 12 million a year, easy. She's easily making that. So. I mean, I'm not hating on them. I understand they hung their people. I understand what they went through before. So to say that they don't deserve what they got, I say hell yeah, they do more. Again, down here they took the big lake. They gave them shitty ponds. It's shitty ponds. Matter of fact, there's a golf course that's technically on the reservation. Rich people live on this golf course, so they sold the golf course to these rich folks. So these rich folks live, and it's funny. This is like down here, there's not burglaries, but where all these motherfuckers live, it's technically on the casinos, they get the shit robbed out of their asses, breaking in their homes and shit. And you know, it's casino people breaking in their homes and shit. Just kind of funny, kind of just desserts. But it's like it's a pocket where you live down here where motherfuckers break into your shit. And I ain't just saying taking catalytic converters. I'm saying breaking in motherfuckers' house. It happened off the reservation where these motherfuckers get all this money. And there's been murders, over there. I told the story. This motherfucking, how did this story go? It didn't make sense. I don't know why he killed this person, but this dude was a vet. Okay, imagine this. So you're in your house with your grandchildren. And maybe one of your grandchildren don't shut one of your doors. I don't know what happened. But this guy that lived a couple doors over, vet, comes in his house, the door's open, walks in the basement and kills the grandfather in front of his grandchildren. Now, how the door got open, how this guy got in there, I can't tell you. Yeah, that's how they knock some of them off. Oh, this beer is so good. Yes. And I'm feeling, it's 2 o'clock. Must be about 2:30. Yeah, I got shit to do tomorrow. I hear the Indians get a 5-band check a month. Nah, these people get big money. They were big in Detroit too. Yeah, these people get, telling you, this casino. It's 2 casinos and a motel. Yeah, they just gave a big free thing for the fireworks. I didn't go, but they had, the food trucks and everything. I picked up food for people a couple weeks ago. I ain't doing that shit. It's just too hard on my car to sit there. But I know it helps families, but fuck that. I ain't gonna tear my car up again to wait for some fucking food to get these people. I don't mind doing it, but I'm not gonna tear my car up to do it. So yeah, I'm not doing that shit again. My old car didn't mind, but yeah. Oh, I talked about this before. They made these motherfuckers put up one of them windmills. And most of these windmills you see, like Iowa, when you go into Iowa, you see just fields and fields of these fucking windmills. Don't you know most of these windmills is run on diesel? They're supposed to be run on wind, and most of these motherfuckers is run on diesel fuel. Isn't that a bitch? To give you power. Yeah, I'm getting stiff as shit in the back. Yeah, this sitting ain't great. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to cut it. I'm getting stiff. But anyway, yeah, most windmills is run on diesel fuel. And then they're made out of material that you can't break down. So when you get rid of these windmills, you got to fucking bury them somewhere. They ain't going to never break down. The metals in them, the paint, the finishes. Yeah. So this is junk that is never going to do anything. So they're finally taking this motherfucker down. They was forced to buy it. I know they was forced to buy it because when I went up to Duluth, that's where they ship them out of. They ship them out of Duluth. These windmills ain't worth a fuck. And you think they put in spots where they run on wind. No, they run on diesel. So they ain't worth it. But they're finally tearing the motherfucker down. So they must have let them tear it down. They're like, we don't use this motherfucker. We don't use this shit. Why y'all making us use this shit? We don't use this shit. Well, go ahead and tear it down. And it's been 10 years. That shit been here up, probably 15, 16 years. Another shout out to Boat Brothers Brewery. You know how much beer's left? Ooh, a little bit. Only thing about this type of beer is like a keg. You kind of got to drink it. Next day, it's not going to be that fresh. But it's good. And I'm going to enjoy it. So, oh my goodness, I'm getting stiff. Looking for that good stuff. Doom, 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 doom. Tighten up on your backstroke. I was telling my daughter this, and I know this is just some random talk, but you can look this up. It's an extended version of Jimmy Bohorns, and it's like, come on, let's do it. Let's dance. Let's do it some more. If y'all remember that song, look that up. But I don't think people realize what he gives you from Soul Train. He gives you a couple things that ain't seen in dance. Again, I love dance. As I said before, Wastack is probably the first example of all of America seeing people pop and lock. Again, in the Midwest and the South, we dance different than they danced out in California. And so what Wastack is the first time you see Rerun, first time you see most of them Soul Train dancers in Wastack. Again, Rerun is probably the biggest name of all of them, but You see a lot of the Soul Train dancers if you watch that. But if you listen to this Jimmy Bohorns, it shows one of the early Soul Train shows to show the first dude doing the robot. I mean, it literally shows the first dude doing the robot. I don't know if you understand how valuable that is. Michael Jackson doesn't do the robot almost 7, 8 years later when he does it on national TV. So Europeans can do it. It shows the dude who pop locked. Oh, and did y'all know what was his name? Beat Street. Poppin' Taco died. Those of you that are on Facebook know Poppin' Taco did a lot of work on Facebook. He died at 58. I don't know how he died. He's in Beat Street. Poppin' Tacos in Beat Street. He's wearing a tam in Beat Street, but he was younger than me. So he died at 58. But yeah, look up that Jimmy Bohorns, and it shows the people. It shows Jeffrey. It shows Jody Wiley. I'm looking. It shows her on there, but Jeffrey. I want to say this too. It's just me talking, but if you look up that World War I video I made last year, I show where he does a pop move, and I think I know the name of that dance. I don't think I've said this before. I think what they call popping, and this is before World War I. I found the information before, but I think it's a dance called the scratch. And so if you look at that video I show of World War I where he dude is pretty much popping or doing a robot, I think that's a dance called the scratch. So 1 or 2. Turbo Shabadoo, yeah. 1973 or 1974. Detroit is equivalent to the land, LA Crip Walk and the Blood Walk. What? Okay. Let me get that. Will Mills ain't worth a fuck. Yeah, they ain't worth a fuck. No, not these steel ones. Also, keep cool in the Midwest while the rest of the planet is under hot extreme. Now, it's been high here. It's been high. From Stern, thank for the operation of their wind tunnels and their fans to cool the upper regions. Detroit is equivalent to the land. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Turbo, yep. New York Breakers and the Rock City Steady Crew. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Wade. Yeah, Mr. Wade. You know, and that goes into, you know, where Black Dot wrote the book on, you know, the principles of hip hop. And I don't think it just from New York. It was other places was doing the same kind of thing. I would even dare say you can look at like Jimi Hendrix doing the fuzz tone. He was doing a scratch using a foot pedal. You listen to the song "Are You Experienced?" How it starts is it's a fuzz tone, but it sounds like a scratch. It goes do 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 do. This is Jimi Hendrix. But it's the first time you hear a fuzz tone, which is really a scratch. If you listen to "Are You Experienced?" Listen to the very way it starts. You hear a do 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 do. That's scratching. But Jimi Hendrix did it with a guitar. And Jimi Hendrix always said he wanted to make his guitar sound like a horn because we know that the guitar took the place of the saxophone. But like when Dewan B talks about the history of music, he doesn't get into a cat named Benny Bolton that later Louis Armstrong got his energy from, where Billy Bolton would play his trumpet. He would just go to a park and start playing, and before you know it, 7,000-8,000 people is listening to him play. And Louis Armstrong talks about this cat. There's only one picture of Benny Bolton. I think that was his name. And so, you know, you get to Louis Armstrong where everything led with the trumpet, led to rhythm, kind of ragtime, if you want to say a little bit, the timing of ragtime. Everybody's doing the Michigan. No. Everybody can do the Kalamazoo rag. Remember the frog? Or the WNB? Everybody loves the Kalamazoo rag. And then you go into jazz where you get, you know, you get the rhythm by, you know, with Charlie Parker, even going to bebop, you get the rhythm with the horns. Yeah. And Jimi Hendrix said he wanted to make his guitar sound like a horn. So, yeah. So this is the channels that our music went through to raise us to certain vibrations. Maybe you can dig it, you know. And so even though it appears new, it ain't really new. When they say ain't nothing new, it really ain't. Just different vibrations, different tones different towns. You hear that? I would just say the blackbird dreaming about you, love so soft and easy, mysterious vibe. What do you say? What do you say about, of course, Donald Byrd? Oh man, I'm walking in rhythm, playing my song. Yeah, yeah. I love them. That was like the song I went to school with. Yeah, Donald Byrd and the Blackbirds. Yeah, wasn't that them walking in rhythm? Yeah. Well, James Brown said it. You know, I got sold and I'm super bad. But James Brown also was part of the psyop. Say it loud. He never says he's black. We know he's pure Cherokee. He never said he was black. Everybody else said it. He never said it. Listen to that song. James Brown not one time says I'm black and I'm proud. He says say it loud. He is the programmer. And James Brown is just responsible as Jesse Jackson was responsible for that African American bullshit that we under. So Jesse was on everything, and when he's running for president, he's running from show to show. But you could tell it was a psyop because he was in front of every camera saying African American, African American, African American. It's like, Jesse, what you got to say? African American. Nothing else. That was all that his point was. I'm running for president, but I'm running for African American. So you niggas would quit calling yourself these other names. That's why they're fucked up with me, because my shit says colored. And last time I checked, colored means Indian. And colored fellas. My grandfather. Yeah, you know, colored fellas. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the niggas you work with. Well, I don't, my grandfather wouldn't say niggas. I'm like, you talking about the niggas you work with. Niggas, as a matter of fact, it was like cokeheads. And niggas is cokeheads. You're like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Because I'll say my hustling stayed away from them car factories. I kind of, by the time when I was hustling, I was like, I'm not getting caught up in them factories. I got to drive to the factories, because that's what motherfuckers would do. Motherfuckers would be up, working their shifts and shit, and call the dope dealer to come bring them some dope, because they done did all the dope, like especially the snorters. Motherfuckers done snorted a gram up at 8. Motherfucker worked 4 hours and done snorted up a gram and shit. So he called his dope dealer to come up to General Motors and bring him more dope. Niggas used to do that shit. I ain't never do that shit. I was like, you crazy? You got to go through security, it's like, no, fuck that. I wouldn't do that shit. Motherfuckers did it though. I know a dude at General Motors. He lived near the factory. This dude would go in at 7 in the morning, unload 4 or 5 trains, parts or whatever. Damn near was done. He was damn near done. He would go home the rest of the day, and then at like 2 o'clock, he had to come back and load shit. So this dude actually only had to work 2-3 hours a day, but was getting paid. And he overtime, if he got to loading this shit, he was charging. But he was, he wasn't doing shit most of the day. He worked 4 hours in the morning, go home, go to sleep, and have to do shit, come back to the afternoon. I knew a dude that did that. So get paid, and Chrysler and Ford still doing it. His own money, or should I say currency. Remember Eddie Murphy did him in Saturday Night Live. Jaime Town. Yeah, don't let me down. Jaime Town. Yeah, because Jesse Jackson said that shit. But Umar said the same shit. It's all about the Benjamins. It was a money deal. Umar fucked they shit up. Oh, she's Muslim. She's, anti. Yeah. They're the only person, you never see a black person come on, or a melanated person come on and say they anti-nigger. They don't like niggers over there. But them peoples can't wait to say that. Oh, they throw that shit out there quick. Anti-Semitic. You say anything about them people. They're the only group of people you can't talk about. They're the only group of people you can't talk about. You talking about every other person. You can talk about all the Europeans you want except that group. The Ashkenazis. You can't talk about them. You don't like them. I'll quantify. I don't know any Jewish faith people. I've met them throughout my life. As I said, as a boy, when the Jewish faith people moved to the area where I moved, them Catholic folks didn't like them very much. They beat up these children every day. They beat up to these children to the point the parents had to come and stand at the bus stop. Let me even back up, and I've told this story before. I watched for weeks. They beat up these Jewish faith children. They were younger than me, so I think I was in 4th or 5th grade. They were both 4th and 3rd. These Catholics beat the shit out of these children every day. They would literally beat them up to go to school. They would get beat up to wait for the bus. They couldn't just sit there and wait for the bus. The Catholics was beating the shit out of them. It got so bad, the bus driver got to feeling bad for these Jewish faith children. And the bus driver would make an unnecessary stop and let them have a head start. And I mean, you talking about little devils, these Catholics would just get infuriated. They all stood up and they all got in, like, you know how the aisle is to get off the bus? All these Catholic children. I went to public school, but all these children was Catholics. They all stood up and they got in line and they wanted to just rush off the bus to run the 2 blocks back to try to catch these Jewish faith children. And finally, the Jewish faith children's parents had to come out there before school and after school to make all these Catholics quit fucking with them. I experienced this myself. And it's like, they never fuck with me like that. You know, they never fuck with my brother like that. My brother was in kindergarten and had to walk to his school. In kindergarten, my brother walked 4 or 5 blocks. Yeah. Kindergarten. Parents took him the first day. The rest of the day say, well, you walk up the hill, you cross the main highway, and then you walk your little ass in that neighborhood, and there's the school. Kindergarten, he had to do that. He'll tell you. Kindergarten, my little brother walked to school. And he only went half a day. But he still had to walk. And that's some shit. And they tell you children ain't self-reliant. You think today a kindergartner can walk that route that my brother walked? Do you really think today? No way. No way. No way you would let your child walk that far. They did that to us. Okay. Whoops. Okay. All right then. You're being anti-Semitic. There you go, Lorenzo. And that's the shit they say. That is the shit they say. You know. But yet they want to talk about everybody. As I said before, you know, the shit they gave, that free money they gave them made no sense. And they can't deny these numbers. The money they got from the stimulus shit was $50 million per person. That is how much America gave of your tax money to the Jewish faith people. $50 million per person. Now, I ain't saying the average person got that money. We know how they do. They did not. There are poor Jewish faith people live in Israel. There are poor Jewish faith people that live in America. We understand that. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the controllers. And I tell you, Super Slide, me and you got to have a debate about free will. It's interesting. One of my friends was bringing that up, and that ain't a thing. I'll say that. That was not given. That is not universal right. It is almost a trick. It is almost a trick. Yeah. It is almost a trick. Because the way it's put out there, you have the right to make your choices. However, we know animalistic instinct that, okay, you give me the choice, but if I'm hungry and you put some shit to my left that smell like some shit that I could eat, I am going to go to that shit. I am going to follow the smell to see if I can eat that good smelling shit. That ain't free will. That's being set up. And that's what a lot of what is called free will. But I want to have a debate with Super Slide at. It is not. See, and a lot of people try to say, you know, that free will comes from the Masons, comes from Pike. Thank you, Motivate. I ain't got Motivate on. The Motivate is kicking ass. Thank you. Comes from Albert Pike. But I think it is an illusion. It is illusion to think that we ain't fucked with by the fates. Loud ass cat. And I say the fates because of I studied so much. I found a little thing by Elijah Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad alluded to, what was taken from the Library of Alexandria. Because what he says is, and this is you read the shit about him, you would never catch this shit, but it's only one little line, and it says that in the Library of Alexandria, there was books that talked about history, but there was also books that talked about the future. And you don't see a lot about this. It's hard to find anything else that touches on to what Elijah Muhammad touches on. This is pretty much buried. But when you read, when they're talking about the fates and stuff, a lot of times it's applied like there's something running that's already talked about this stuff. And that's not really the right words I want to use, that this was put out there already. So I don't know. I think free will is in some ways kind of almost a crutch. It's a crutch, and I think it derails us, because when worrying about yourself, it is not that you have the free will to do anything. And that's the way it's put. It's like it's put out there almost like it's just a record put out there. And the record is put out there of energy, and then we all just have we could all jump off the cliff if we want to. But some of us look over the cliff and supposedly say, well, goddamn, even though I have the right to jump over that motherfucker, I am not going to do what these dumb motherfuckers do and jump off the cliff. I am going to walk back to my house and say, fuck, let's do something else. Some look at that as he had the free will, where some look at the others where they didn't have free will. They just had to jump off the cliff. But the motherfuckers that didn't jump off the cliff say, well, these dumb motherfuckers jumped. Even though we had knowledge, we didn't jump. And that's free will. See, that's illusion. That's illusion. Oh yeah, Lorenzo. Look up the money. What they gave them during 20 or 21, when they was giving everybody stimulus, it came out to, I broke down, because it's only 8,000 people. There's only 8,000 people that live in Israel, I think. And it came to 56 million per person. Now again, there's poor people live over there that's Jewish faith that don't get it. And again, it's a lot of Jewish faith people that don't make a lot of money, that ain't part of this agenda, that fear the Gentiles, that use them as their war shields. So, but yeah, they give you $1,200-$1,400. They give them, of course, the money changers. That's where the story of Jesus. He didn't like money changers. He said no money changers in the temple. And what do we see in temples? Nothing but money changers. We see temples where motherfuckers try to convince you, give more money, give more of your paycheck so he can go buy a jet. And how many churches do we know that the church's pride is how rich their pastors are? Do you understand that? Do you understand the thinking of our people? Our church ain't successful unless our pastor got this, unless our pastor got that. That's where the money church people come from. And I still listen to Reverend Ike. Reverend Ike was like, I'm going to show all my people how to get this shit. I think Super Sly touched on that too, but listen to his shit. It's like, I'm going to teach all my people how to get this shit. He said, the God in you. He saw it. Reverend Ike saw it. Now, he had the perm hair. He was the first to really with Rolls Royce. Maybe David Ruffin was the first to Rolls Royce. But Reverend Ike was up in there with David Ruffin. David Ruffin was like, all the Temptations got Cadillacs. He was like, no, nigga, I got Rolls with a fucking driver. You lames driving Cadillacs. I got Rolls. And he flipped the bucket over in the mall when Romans was taking up tax machines in the church. Yeah. Or Chinese. That's right. said the tax changers ain't supposed to be up in here. You know, and this is another thing. That same temple, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I was gonna say it's the same temple where the where the black cube is today. You know, I want to say that's the same temple, but I could be wrong. But Allah was once just many. It was like the temple had nothing but idols in there. And Allah was just one of the. I want to say that Allah is the well, the original Christian God was a volcano god. So. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. But God is going to attack the messengers and the preachers first and let them have, should be fun to see. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be attacked. Again, this is a reality that wants you to love this flesh, that wants you to think that this is heaven. Because really for entertainers and the beast, this is their heaven, because there's nothing left after this. These people get, you know, how you see the CGI that shows them turning into ash. This is it for them. They have no afterlife after this. They've agreed to sell their energy into this beast for this. So it ends with them. They don't care. You know, this is all they know. So when they die, they just die. And if they have to feed something else that's outside of themselves, they agree to that. So neck doesn't feel bad. Yeah. Shoulders, it's different than the motherfucker. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to cut it loose too, and I'm almost drank all my beer. Yeah, this was like $20 by itself, 6-7 cups, but the beer is excellent, and this is becoming one of my favorite beers. A little stronger than Boulder Brewing, so it's good, expensive, you know. Very expensive, but good beer. Understandable. Well, with the faith and spiritual community, there's voice that tells you to do and what you should not do. Okay, but you said something interesting. Spiritual community. You know, what do they go into? No raise. You know, there's a code of behavior once the community becomes established, and when everybody working in the community, you know, there's a sense of behaviors that's expected. And what was found, and the melanated communities, what came from slavery was we were able to get more things done through the church. So as we moved off the reservations, or excuse me, we moved off the plantations, that stayed with us, that we do things from the church. They show you a little bit of how the church came into control with Nat Turner, and I agree wholeheartedly with Dane and Nat Turner, and both the Harriet shit was also made up shit to disturb, you know, the natural occurrence of people interacting with each other. Matter of fact, Tasha gets into some work where when Nat Turner is supposedly looked for, his family goes into American Indian reservation. So I don't know if y'all, that comes from Tasha. But I think with what Dane says is right. Again, that book, if you've ever read the book, The Confessions of Nat Turner, that book is totally bullshit. They make Nat Turner gay. You know, that comes from European. And again, I'm not trying to offend people. I don't offend anybody. I mean, you love who you love. My daughter's gay and my son, so please don't be offended by what I'm saying. That's not the point. But yeah. So yeah, indoctrination, absolutely. Indoctrination, very much so. And they spread this around all our neighborhoods. I mean, they talk about Richard Allen started the Masons, and Richard Allen started the AME. Again, Richard Allen wasn't from Africa. I mean, maybe he said his people was, but that's lies. Same way, I think, isn't Richard Allen the ones that did the Prince Hall? No, it's Prince Hall. Prince Hall Masons and the other melanated Masons. You know, both Masons had two different kind of Masons. The melanated people got the Prince Hall, and there's another kind of Masons. Because when Little Beaver, they wanted me to be the take over the Mason Center in Battle Creek. Mason, they weren't Prince Halls because Little Beaver always made fun of them. There was the other kind of Black Masons, so whatever that's called. Please forgive me, I don't remember. But I remember the building. The building was like, yeah, they'll let you take this building over and give your parties. I'm like, you telling me you're going to let me give raves up in this motherfucker? Like, the brothers think you can generate the money. And they were right. They wanted part of that money. Raves were so easy. Man. Do you know, like, as Michigan closed down, do you know how easy it was to rent a factory out? Imagine, these buildings just sitting there. And all of a sudden, people are calling people and like, hey, how can we rent your factory out? If the roof stayed, if the roof was still intact, because some of these factories wasn't, some of these factories we rent, like it was a nice summer day, we didn't care, windows broke out, we didn't care, but as long as the roof didn't leak. And so, you know how many factories was like that in Michigan? So raves, I mean, I took advantage of that. I was like, okay, I see the real estate number out there. I'm like, hey, I want to rent this place for a couple of days. You know how many people like this factory sitting? You know how many businesses was like, fuck yeah. How much? How many days you need it? Does it still got electricity? Well, if it's not on, we'll turn it on for you. Do you know how many times I came into that? And I was giving raves like a motherfucker. Shit. And as I said, what was ecstasy pills? This mark. And I mean, ecstasy pills was expensive as a motherfucker. I ran into this mark. I mean, literally, damn. How much was them pills? Them pills was expensive. And this dude showed me something like this, full of them. And he was a mark. I used to ref with him, and his daddy was a mark, and I knew he was a mark. And I just took that shit. And I mean, that shit was, yeah. And he thought he was giving me a deal, and I just straight up just punked his ass. But it was something like this big, full of ecstasy. Per pill, and we're talking about 98, 99. Fuck, what was the pills back then? 80, 90 bucks per pill at least. And I had a big bottle like this. I just took it from him. I ain't had to slap him or nothing. I was like, this ain't your, this is an unlucky day for you. Oh, you're not one of those? Yeah, nigga, I'm about to do that. Oh, I didn't think you were like that. Yeah, I'm like that. And you want trouble, or you just giving me that shit? Warner was his name. He was a mark. But you get water, you get the blinking lights, and you have a fucking factory, you get a DJ. That was it. You notice there's different pictures of Nat Turner. There's pictures where he looked like Frederick Douglass. No, there's pictures where they use the picture supposedly Frederick Douglass, exactly. Where he looks like, Cobb dude. So many different, yeah. But Dane did the work years ago where Dane went to where they said the houses was and shit. And that shit ain't there. Where they said the plantations and stuff. So, and see, this is where I say, motherfuckers start working for the government. Turtle Gang is like Turtle Gang is the Harriet Tubman. He's the Harriet Tubman Defenders. He's interviewing Harriet Tubman's family and shit. What do we tell you about characters? What do we tell you about characters? Do you know how many people say they're related to famous people to get money nowadays? Do you understand? Do I need to say that again? Do you know how many people try to tell you they're related to famous people from the past to get money? So you don't think it's niggas out there saying, oh, Tubman, we can get some money? Tubman was my great aunt. You don't think it's people out there do that shit? That is who Turtle Gang found. I'm team, what's the nigga's name? Dane. Theatrics and Cliff Notes, absolutely. I am team Dane because, again, look at the first president of Liberia, Tubman. Look at who was part of trying to take people off the farms and sending them to Liberia. Tubmans. So this is the name that you thinking, the name Tubman you can find taking you off the farm and trying to take you to Liberia. This was done by the Tubman family. So you think if somebody just got hit in the head and she could just go back and forth? Slavery is not what they told you. Do you think a person that's working on a farm wants to go to Liberia? Do you know what happened in Liberia? The American-backed brothers fought the people that was there. Taylor. Y'all remember Taylor? Nick will remember Taylor. General Taylor was president over there for a while. He was backed by the Americans. This is Liberia. So this is all slavery opposite. They took niggas from over here and took us over to Africa and gave us Liberia. So do you see? It's all told backwards. I said, look into Jim Crow. Slavery, nowhere near bad, is what they say. All that, they just tied him down to the ground, and this European just went while he was tied in the ground, just had to fuck him in the ass in front of his wife. Come on, how you gonna get productive people doing that shit? It's always, even back then, the weird motherfuckers was with the weird motherfuckers. To say that buck breaking, they just gotta pour it on to us. To say that only you can live like this. Only you guys went through this. I'm from them pimp game. Motherfucker call me and say he wants some Greek shit. What that shit mean? Motherfucker call me and say, I need a girl for Greek. What do you think that means? Or I need somebody for Greek. What do you think that means in the pimp game? That means he wants to fuck somebody in the ass. You didn't know. That's what it means. Greek, that ain't nothing new. This was them. They try to make you feel bad. Well, I feel so bad for Grandpa Arnold. He probably got fucked in the ass in front of everybody. They just keep it. Then they give you the niggas slave holiday. Well, niggas feel good. You got a slave holiday. What sense does the slave holiday make? Yeah, still got nothing from while the others do and know who you are. Still get nothing from it while the others do and know who they are. Yeah. So that's why you got to understand your family, know who you are. And worry about yourself. Don't try to free anybody else, free you. And now you can say, well, nigga, you talking about shit and trying to help us free our minds. Well, yeah. I guess I can take a little bit of that, but it's all about you. You can take a little bit of what I said and apply it to how you can apply it. And that's what it is. I listen to a lot of different people, and I was like, God damn, listen to all these little people, and I got this. I can take this and put it into where I need to be helped. So, that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm not doing the divination tonight because I'm too lazy. I did not look at what day the date is. I did not pray to the Mayan gods. I know they're not going to strike me down, but forgive me. But I don't think they fucked with anybody really bad in Prior Lake. I'll tell you what, a lot of goddamn just a car accident. Yeah, it's nothing juicy. They fucking with people. We got like I don't know what the fuck you call it. Like at the Mall of America, you can ride rides and shit, amusement park. But there's one near where I live, like 10 minutes away. Well, 15 minutes away from where I live, there's a big amusement park. And this amusement park, I guess it was a fatal crash over there. So it's not very far. It's a highway to get into that motherfucker. But I can't imagine how somebody would get killed. I don't know. But, yeah. We got a goddamn roller coaster. We got a roller coaster that's a 10-story drop. Boy, the first time I went on that motherfucker, my stomach was up and, because it takes you from the top of 10 stories down to 1. And that shit happens in seconds. And my shit was still up there. I'm still like waiting for us to go. And my stomach was still up there. So it took like the third or fourth bank to bring me back. That 10-story drop was a motherfucker. It's like, woof. God damn. and I've been, my Midwest people, maybe PJ remember this. Midwest people, the motherfucker Cedar Point, which is on Lake Erie, is in Ohio, Sandusky, Ohio, and Lake Erie. there's the ones that started doing them. What is it called? What is it called? G's. You know, the pressure from the G's that the pilot training go through. So the original Demon Drop that was in Cedar Point 25, 30 years ago was the first place in America to have that shit. And that shit is pilot training. You talking about they take you up real slow and then they just drop you. That is pilot training. And I remember doing that shit, and that had to be in the 80s. God damn. Now, if that was different than the 10-story drop. That Demon Drop shit, you talking about, like, my brain and everything was still up top. When that shit dropped, I mean, your jaws be like, ah, I mean, just the pressure. The new one, the new versions ain't nothing like that shit. That original shit they built you, you know, when you see people doing the G's and they face, oh, that Demon Drop did all that shit. That shit was some real scary shit. That was one of the best rides in the country at the time. That shit, if you wanted a thrill and you wanted to be like, get on a ride where the shit did some shit, that Demon Drop in Cedar Point, that was the real shit. The shit you see now ain't like that, where your shit don't do like this. Your face and your skin and all your shit be pushed. Yeah, they don't have that shit no more. That Demon Drop was a motherfucker. That was a ride for your ass. That shit. I don't know if y'all remember that. PJ, I don't know if he's old enough to remember that shit, but that shit was at Cedar Point. That shit started there. That was a hell of a scary ride. My brother might remember that shit. That shit was like, that was a ride where, you know, you stand in line, how some of the amusement parks, you stand in line. Yeah, it was never no long line for that shit because you had to be truly a motherfucker to get on that shit. That shit fucked me up the first time. Oh my goodness. That shit is nothing to prepare you to face G's, to face that pressure that comes at your ass. Yeah, that shit was real shit. Now, again, I went through that Demon Drop. When I went through this 10-story drop, that shit like caught me off guard too. I have to admit, that shit was like, God damn. So, but yeah. Well, almost 3 hours. Well, I got a little bit of beer left. So, I must say, I'll say, did kind of benefit today. Bought the basic start of my computer build. So, yeah. So, started that. Yeah. So, hopefully all the equipment turns out. I don't have to get a loan, you know. And you got to say, you know, Mr. Telephone Man, will you buy me a Rodecaster too? Yeah, it don't work like that. I don't know no niggas that like, well, goddamn, okay. Yeah, it all comes from me. So, but yeah, the computer starts. My son built his. He's like, fuck, get a camera. I could have used it tonight. So that's a possibility too. But it's in my son's room that smells like all be damn. He's a sloppy motherfucker. He's nasty. Yeah, straight up nasty, sloppy motherfucker. So I don't spend a lot of time in his room because that's him. But his computer's done. Everything's working. So, yeah. And so we've started on mine. So hopefully, you know, studio where nobody's fool would be. We wants a studio bad. He says he's going to say a lot more shit. I think he's fucking capping. Nigga, you're not going to say shit. And if you say something, it's going to scare other people. Plus, I don't know how, if you say something without me telling you to say something, how are we going to make money off that? You know, if you just say something and all the people are like, God damn, you know, Big Pontiac did a show and the shit on the wall started saying something. I don't know how we're going to make money on that. I guess views, maybe. Because you know how that shit works? It's like every 10 videos, he would say something. You know, so every 10 people that watched it, 9 people wouldn't see him say shit. The 10th person would see him say shit. That's how the shit works. So the 10th person would be like, well, goddamn, I did see it. That thing on the wall started talking and shit. I don't think he was, you know, a ventriloquist. I don't think he was a ventriloquist. You guys think I could do some ventriloquist and shit? I might one day, might, throw the voice over here, but how do you make his lips move and shit? It's CGI shit. I'm not sophisticated enough to do CGI. So just prepare you in case it happens. So set plan or say wild stuff to go viral. I don't know. I don't need to go viral. I don't. The less eyes on me, the better. Thank you enough for keeping me stable. Thank you, Barbara. Barbara's always been cool. I've sent shit to Barbara, so Barbara's always been cool. So I appreciate that. Definitely. That helps. The views help. There's a lag on the sports shit until football comes back in. Thank you for the guys, the people that watch my USFL video. I guess people like that, pointing out that they'll throw the Mason stuff in no matter what. So thank you for that. And then football season to come in. So I guess I could make a video about tennis. They threw a copyright on me because Buxton went up to hit, and they were saying that Buxton, the pitcher, has never given up a home run, and Buxton blasts one, and they hit me with a copyright because I said, did the announcers know? Because you see that kind of shit all the time. Let me tell you, this is a cigar from Nicaragua. Two places, I'll even say places I like better than Cuban, is I like Honduras and Nicaragua cigars. To understand the history, when Cuba got shut down, what happened to a lot of the cigar growers, took seeds from Cuba, and the ones that ended up in Nicaragua and the ones that ended up in Honduras started growing tobacco. And they found out that the leaves are just as good. And this is a cheap cigar. Really fine grade of cigar, though. I'm paying all that money for the motherfucking sweet cigars. I'm buying these regulars. I'm like, shit, I can get a box of these for about $25. Because I do like tobacco. But I do like the flavor of tobacco, too. I mean, I don't mind it sweet, but I do like the flavor of tobacco. And your tobacco is calming. You suck on a few of that, and you get calmer in the motherfucker. Motherfuckers smoke cigarettes to get calm, but then they amp everything up. Number 33 got the first pick six in the championship games. Wow. 33. I tell you, Cook must be changing his number because they had Cook's jersey. Them jerseys is what, $140? And Cook's jersey, one was 40% off, one was 30% off. So he was getting them $60, $70. So Cook must have changed his jersey back to his Florida State number, I'm guessing. I might go get that Durant jersey because PJ says I should get the Durant jersey. The Durant jersey was under 50 for Brooklyn. And the Zion jersey was 70. And he re-upped. It was Zion, New Orleans, and white. I'll say this. I'm not a great lover of basketball jerseys. They're very limited in their use. Unless you get it big enough to wear over hoodies, they just sit in your goddamn closet. So not a big basketball jersey lover because you just don't wear them. My Connie Hawkins jersey sit in the closet. Maybe once or twice I'll bring it out. Other people may wear them more. Again, the summer times is where you're wearing this shit. So I don't know, guys. So, all right. Well, I will give more from the Time Walkers, Meredith Quinn. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They knew how to separate. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the Great Serpent, which is the Milky Way. You don't need a toaster to move through it. So rest well. Know that your bed is the creation ball field and that there's nothing that can bother you. You just have to activate everything around you. That's all. You feel something fucking with your dreams? Activate the shit around you. Crystals help. Crystals amplify. Oh my goodness. Ah, this is stiff. Starting to feel it. Damn. It's nerve shit. And so know that you're safe. Rest well. Those of you that have to work tonight and have to move through the morning, the same energy goes to you, you know. May you be safe through the rest of your time and then your drive home. May you be safe and may you get the proper rest that you need. Remember, love just is. Love has no equal. Love is supreme. In the words from Lazarus Long, days are long, but the years are short. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your humble guest, Big Pontiac. Till we meet again. Everybody, thank you so much for rocking with me. I appreciate it. Thank you. If I feel okay, I'll be on tonight or tomorrow morning. Feeling a little stiff, so we'll see. We'll see. But for the most part, I feel okay. Made it 2.5, almost 3 hours, so I feel kind of okay. So, till we meet again, say less.